Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku had unexpected quirk part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story 𝐀𝐦 writes from AO3. So let's start the video. Izuku is 14, walking home from school. His tears smear across his face when he rubs at them. He knows he looks awful, with red-rimmed eyes and messy clothes. Still, Izuku knows how to expertly avoid mom at this point. Just enough so that she wouldn't notice him run into the bathroom to wash the puffiness out of this face. Thoughts are all jumbled up in his head, bouncing all off of each other. Oi, shitty Deku. Why don't you just take a swan dive off the school? Huh, nice one 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝗀. Yeah, do a flip while you're at it. He digs his nails into his palm until it hurts, staring down at the gray sidewalk and his shoes. Izuku's bright red Nikes almost make him smile. Almost. The sun disappears from the street as he walks under the usual bridge. His footsteps echo in the shaded area. It's his normal path, and it's clean. So Izuku is a bit surprised when he hears a low chuckle from the side. The homeless. Izuku looks up. There's no one there. Hello. His knees shake, but he tries to stand his ground. Is there anyone there? Do you need help? I bet it's 𝐀𝐦 and his friends. Back to torment me. Jesus F, will they ever stop? 𝐀𝐦. Is it you? Izuku grips the strap of his bag tighter. Oh, I hope it's not. From a dark corner, some sort of dark goop drags its way into the half-light and Izuku takes a shaky step backwards. Izuku knows his hands are trembling. He knows every cell in his body is telling him to run. This isn't funny, 𝐀𝐦. The goop grows until it's swaying slightly, clearly unstable. Large eyeballs bubble up to the top, relatively close to where actual eyes would be. Oh, kid. I'm not 𝐀𝐦 or whoever that is. I'm the guy that's probably going to kill you. And Izuku. Izuku is so close to shitting bricks. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Where the did that come from? Oh my god, I'm about to die and I just said that to the face of my murderer. LMAO, it was kinda funny though. The villain laughs, low and scratchy. Yes, it will be. Well, F. He lunges right towards Izuku's face and everything goes dark. Dash. 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 Ma dash, young man. Izuku snaps straight up. Oh my god, I'm going to die. Promptly, he throws up, twisting to the side. He can feel a large hand rubbing his back, and from his peripheral vision, he sees a large pair of boots. Once he coughs out all the bile, Izuku follows the shoes up to legs and from legs to a very large chest and from the chest to my god 𝐻𝐸. Wow, it really is him. He's so big. 𝐻𝐸 is a big boy. I honestly don't know what I expected. 𝐻𝐸 laughs and helps him stand up. Are you alright, young man? You passed out after the villain tried to enter your body. Izuku is sure he's dead and in the afterlife, now. His face burns as red as his sneakers. After the villain tried to did you, capture him? He stammers out, rubbing the back of his neck. 𝐻𝐸 presents 2 water bottles filled with goop, one having a floating eyeball in it. Yes, I did. Now, I must be on my way. That's kinda gross, actually, but also kinda cool. What the LMAO wait sleeving 𝐻𝐡𝐻𝑇 𝐻𝐸. The hero is getting ready to leave, putting the bottles in his cargo pockets. Want an autograph? I already did it. Oh hell yeah. That's so cool, that's gonna stay in the family forever. I'm gonna give it to my kids and wait, no. Well, yes, but I had a question. All Might looks over his shoulder to 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬, flashing a 100-watt grin. What is it? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 grounds his nails into his palms, taking a breath and steeling his nerves. There are hot tears running down his face, but he ignores them. Can I be a hero without a quirk? He sees something in All Might flatter, just a little bit. The large man's shoulders seem to deflate an inch before the hero straightens again and stands proud. Young man. I think that, if you work strong enough, you can do anything you want. Even becoming a hero. You must be willing to do what no one else wants to do. What no one else can do. And if anyone tries to stop you, tell them All Might says otherwise. The hero faces him. Now, I really must go. Thank you, All Might. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 manages to say. God, I'm so close to crying right now. Wait, no, scratch that. I am. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 rubs at his eyes. All Might gives one last nod to him before basting off the ground, the force of it pushing 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 back a few feet. He shades his eyes from the sun with his hand as he watches his hero literally jump across the city. Wow. I just met All Might. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 grins to himself as he adjusts his grip on his backpack and picks up his notebook. Sure enough, All Might is printed boldly on the back. He sets off to his apartment, a slight spring in his step. Little did he know of the small gold eyes peering at him from inside a bush. Dash. 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 I've really gotta stop getting into life-threatening positions. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 doesn't even know how he got here. One moment he's trying to look through the large crowd outside of a street and the next thing he knows, he's been pushed to the front. It's a fight, the same sludge villain from before, but none of the heroes standing around are doing anything. The sludge is moving wildly, almost as if something is trapped inside it. They're waiting for another pro to come. One better suited to handle the villain. A guy standing next to him says. There's a kid stuck in there, you know. There is kid in there. What? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 doesn't mean to screech, but it comes out anyways. The guy looks at him before turning towards the fight. Yeah, a kid. Wearing a uniform like yours, actually. Real explosive. I hope he lives. A uniform like mine. And, real, explosive. Oh God, I hope it's not 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐴₁ what did he look like? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 grounds out. The crowd around him is suffocating and everything feels way too loud. It's probably not 𝐀𝐻𝐦, I mean, he can handle himself and blonde hair, real spiky, you know. I didn't get a good look, but I think he has red eyes. Holy F, it's 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐬. Before 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 even processes what's happening, he's running forward, sliding his backpack off his shoulders and slinging it towards the villain. It hits him squarely in the eye and the sludge reels back. There's people yelling at him, but he ignores them. From where he is, he can see 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐬 inside and 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 grits his teeth. He has to fight. He has to help him. He has to do something. The voices drown out. The villain slows to a halt. No one moves. Time stops. Do you really want to help him? What? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 turns around to see a woman standing behind him. Everything about her is so bright. From her gold kimono to her gold hair, to her 4 gold eyes and glowing wings. He has to squint to make out her slightly transparent form. She has a sort of aura around her, one that, quite frankly, is terrifying. But he doesn't feel scared. He feels quite safe. Dear God, I really am dead. Jesus, is that you? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 remembers her question and replies with the truth. I do. For once, he doesn't stutter. The whim in her head. He is not your friend. His nails dig into his palm as he looks away. I know, but he's in trouble, and then I just have to help him. I don't care who he is, because right now he's going to die and I just can't stand by and watch and 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 trails off before looking back at her. I just have to something. The woman nods. Do you want me to help you? Izuku doesn't even hesitate. Yes. He doesn't know her, or what she is, but she feels familiar to him. He knows he can trust her. There is no going back. Are you aware? I don't care. As long as I help him. She smiles at him, and he feels warmth pour over his body, like he was in the sun for an hour too long. I am the holder of strength, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐍𝐸. I allow to wield my power and bare my soul to you. Call my name. Izuku's mouth opens and words flow out like water, words he didn't even know he knew. I am Midoriya Izuku. I accept to hold your power and cherish your soul with my own. I call upon you, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐍𝐸. Everything snaps back into place. The people screaming, the sludge moving, and his feet jumping up in the air. He moves on muscle memory, bending his knees and kicking off the ground, twisting. Wait, how am I doing this? Izuku, as he's in the air, glances at himself. A gold chest plate adorns his chest, along with matching gauntlets and shin guards. They glow with the same translucent energy of the women. Izuku, do not think. Make your move. 𝐬𝐡𝐻𝐸, you right. He shifts his body and manages a left hook that could rival All Might. The gauntlets cut through the sludge and he manages to grab onto 𝐻𝐾𝐦's shoulder, tearing him out of the sludge. 𝐻𝐾𝐦 goes flying to God knows where, but Izuku has other problems to deal with, such as the ground coming up to meet him at an alarming rate. I really am going to die today. Suddenly, something thick wraps around his chest and knocks the air out of him. He glances down to find strong lines of wood slowly bringing him away from the villain and setting him down on the ground. Oh, it's Kamui Woods. And that was very reckless, young man, I hope you understand. Izuku blinks away the fog and looks up to meet the face of the young hero. I am sorry. What was that? Kamui Woods drags a hand across his face, mask, and withdraws the wood that was wrapped around Izuku. That was very reckless, but I have to admit, it worked. Now, you can release your quirk and you should get checked out. Re-release my quirk. The hero sighs. Yes, please. You don't need it anymore. You'll tire out. Wait, how do I release my quirk? Or, you? Are you in my head? 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐍𝐸. I am not in your head. Not exactly. But the hero is right, you need to release me. I will explain everything else later. You can just say, release, if you would like. Rewrite. Izuku clears his throat. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐍𝐸, release. The armor flickers brightly before flying off his body in a gold streak, forming into a small ball of light that settles on Izuku's shoulder. Now, Kamui Woods says, placing a hand on his shoulder and turning him around. Let's get you checked out. He's sort of out of it a little bit, but the hero disappears once Izuku is sitting on the back of a hospital van, getting checked out by a nurse. Two men, one with a cat head, comes up and flashes shiny badge at the nurses, which they take as their hint to leave. You don't have a concussion. Just slight shock. Stay warm. One of the nurses say, before leaving to help someone else. The two men face me. One of them removes his hat to reveal a shock of black hair, holds it under his arm, and pulls out a small notebook and a pen from his pocket. My name is Detective 𝐀𝐦. This is Police Chief Tamikawa. The black-haired man says, gesturing to the cat-head man. If it's okay with you, we would like to ask you a few questions. What's your name, kid? Me Midoriya Izuku, sir. Izuku pulls the blanket that was placed around his shoulders tighter. And that's okay. I mean I don't know what help I'll be you but I can try. It's really cold. Has it always been this cold? Detective 𝐀𝐻𝐸 nods. First off, do you know the consequences of using a quirk without a license? While what you did today was admirable, unfortunately, it cannot go without punishment. He blanches. 𝐻𝐡 I forgot about that. Oh my god, MOM is going to be so mad at me. Wait, no, she'll be happy because I have a quirk. Wait, I have a quirk. And Izuku. 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬 flies down from his shoulder and flutters in front of him. Despite the bright light around her, he could make out her form, about 5 inches tall. Calm down. Tell him the truth. You did nothing wrong. I didn't have a Quirk before today, sir. Izuku choked out, eyes still glued to her small form. I'm sorry. He looks up just in time to see the two men glance at each other. There's a slight in his head that seems to be growing, but he ignores it. 𝐬𝐡𝐢𝐬 flies off somewhere, and from the slight pressure on his curls, Izuku assumes she's resting on top of his head. Is that the truth? Chief Tamikawa asks. Why yes. Izuku cries, before wincing. He didn't mean to be so loud. Yes. That's the truth. I don't know exactly what happened to today, but I know I didn't have these powers yesterday, sir. There's something like black spots at the edges of his vision, but he rubs them away with his fist. The two men look at each other before Chief Tamikawa nods, and the detective writes something down in his notebook before closing it and putting it away. You're telling the truth. This is a pretty rare thing, so the next dash, Izuku blinks, long and strong, trying to clear his eyesight. Things are starting to blur together. Hey, kid, are you okay? Some hell, ver here, her dash, watches he dash, get him to a hospital dash, call his parent dash, hurry dash, sht. Where am I? Did I die again? Izuku peels open his dry eyes. There's a white ceiling above him, and when he squints down at himself, he recognizes a hospital bed. The room lights are dimmed, though, and he appreciates the soft view for his tired eyes. From next to him, a machine beeps quietly to itself. Oh, I'm at the hospital. Why am I in a hospital? Izuku. He flops his head over to the side, squinting. Everything is slightly blurry, but it's going away by the second. Izuku makes out a head of matching green hair and a ball of light. Mom. Izuku say, softly. His throat is way too dry and it itches as he whispers. Wow, I need water, ASAP. He reaches out weakly and feels Mom grab his hand. Izuku smiles, but goddamn, he's so sore. Mom, why are we in a hospital? She sighs. Izuku can see her a bit more clearly now, and she looks tired. Really tired. And she's crying. I'll tell you later, okay honey. But right now, let's call in the doctors. She presses something outside his field of vision. How are you feeling? He searches for the right word. Tired. Exhausted. Everything kinda hurts, Mom. There's a large window behind her and Izuku can see that it's nighttime already, with the moon shining brightly over the dark treetops. That should be expected. Izuku looks to the other side of the room, where a woman in a long white coat walks in through the door, holding a clipboard. Her dark red hair is swept up into a high ponytail, and even from across the room, Izuku can see the sharp pink glow from her almond eyes. Hello, Izuku. I'm Dr. Sukahiro. She comes up to stand next to the bed. What do you remember? He thinks. What do I remember? I was walking home. Izuku tries racking his head for more, dragging his left hand to rub at the pain across his chest. Wait, why did my chest hurt? It was because 𝐀𝐦 𝐍𝐴, he grabbed me, he breathes in sharply, sht, that hurts, as the memories come flooding back. I was trying to help. Help 𝐀𝐦, I mean. There was someone that helped me, think. Doctor. Sukahiro nods, marking something down on her clipboard. Good, so you remember everything. Izuku, it seems, she looks at Mom, who nods. It seems that you have a quirk, after all. What? Izuku chokes on his spit, bringing on a violent round of coughing. What do you mean? She is talking about me, Izuku. He looks to the other side of the bed where a woman is standing, the same woman from the sludge villain attack. You're the one who helped me rewrite. he stammers out. She nods. Now that there's not a lot of adrenaline in his system, Izuku's able to notice details about her that he didn't before. Her kimono is old, like the one he sees in old, pre-Quirk history books. Giant wings protrude from her back and a braided circlet of her own gold hair rests on her brow. The rest of her long hair was pulled over one shoulder. Her solid gold eyes, all four of them, stare at Izuku and it chills him to his core. But it's not threatening. It's sort of warm. Izuku blinks. What are you? Is it a mutant quirk that gives you wings? Along with 4 eyes. Can you fly? Why do you glow? Is the glowing a side effect, or is that your full quirk? Why do you prefer to wear a pre-quirk kimono? Mom places a hand on his thigh, over the blankets. Izuku, baby, calm down. I am, how would your people say? A fairy. A sprite. Fae. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 shakes her head, letting her hair sweep and fall. She lets out a huff of air that sounds like a slight laugh. I am the holder of strength. I have been around for thousands of years, which is why I wear this kimono. Izuku, I gave you my power and you allowed me to share your soul. I hope you are not going back on the agreement. No, I'm not. Izuku tells her, quietly. I'm just confused. Now, that seems to be your quirk, Izuku. Dr. Tsukahiro comments, pulling the boy's eyes back to her. Your connection to, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 was it? When the Fae, Izuku's just going to go with the term, Fae, your quirk, from what we've noticed, allows you to make an agreement of sorts with her. How, or what exactly that means, we don't know yet. If I may, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 interrupts, Izuku and I share a soul now, seeing as we have claimed each other. The more energy I use, the more he has to replenish, for the both of us. He needs enough power for 2, now. That is why he passed out. His body was not ready. Something about Izuku drew me to him and because of that, I gave him everything of myself. I must follow through with everything he tells me and I will do my best to follow through. Her 4 eyes turn to Mom. There was a man, once. He was born with one of us, a Fae, one who could whisper fire from his lips. They were claimed together from the start and for a while, they were happy. Until the Fae grew greedy, that is, fueled by the man's own want and it led to both of their demises. Izuku could see his mother's eyes grow. Hisashi, 𝐻𝐻𝐸 nodded. Yes, he was that man. She seems to size up Mom for a moment before continuing, Midoriya Inko, please know this. The man you married and fell in love with. He was uncorrupted and lived in harmony with his Fae. It was not until after, many years after, did he fall victim to his own soul companion. Oh, so 𝐬𝐻𝐸 must be a combination of Mom's and Dad's quirk. If Dad had a connection with the Fae and Mom can make things float towards her, it makes sense that my quirk would be able to draw Fae towards me, right? That being said, how many Fae are there? And what is the extent of their power? It must be strong, 𝐵𝐴-Izuku. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 sighs, walking, floating. Flying, up to him. Please, save your questions for later. For now, I must go to another form. It takes a lot of your energy for me to be like this and I do not wish to hurt you. Although, this may sting. At Izuku's nod, he watches as 𝐻𝐻𝐸 closes her eyes and sorts of, melts. That's not really the right word. She compresses herself into some sort of liquid light before diving into his left arm. It doesn't really sting, more so someone just slapped his skin really strong. Izuku notes how everyone in the room stares, entranced, as gold swims around to encircle his skin before settling into the glowing outline of a dragon. The dragon moves and twists along his arm, thrumming in time to what seems to be his own heartbeat. Well. Dr. Tsukahiro comments. Izuku looks back up to her. Now, I recorded most of that and I think I have enough to implement into your files. You did pass out earlier, from a fever, but it's gone now. It was most likely your body adjusting to her. What did she say? She glances down at her clipboard. Right. Her claim. Now, I think you're free to go home now, just come back if anything else happens, alright? The last part was directed to Mom. Mom smiles at the doctor. Of course. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you Dr. Sukahiro. Izuku echoes. I really do have a quirk. Oh, my god, Kaken's gonna freak when he hears about it. Izuku blanches. Holy SHT, Kaken's going to kill me when he hears about it. Oh, what am I gonna do? Here lies Midoriya Izuku, death by Ba Izuku, please pay attention. Your mom is trying to talk to you. He looks up to see Mom holding a folded stack of clothes for him. I'll wait outside, okay. Okay, Mom. She casts a small smile at him before coming in close to give his a tight hug. I'm sorry. Izuku's eyebrows furrow. For what? For your dad, I guess. I feel responsible. He sighs. Mom, it's not your fault. And please don't cry. If you cry, then I cry, and the only thing worse than one crying Midoriya is two. She pulls away from him and wipes her eyes. I guess you're right, huh? I'll leave you be. His fingers grip the white hospital blankets as he watches her back. Mom, he calls out, when she's about to go through the door. You know I love you, right? Mom glaces back at him. Oh, baby, I know. And then she leaves the room. You know, Horida we need to talk about you reading my mind. I cannot read your mind. I can only feel your strong emotions. The only time I can come close to mind reading is when you directly address me by name, like you just did. I should also be able to talk with any other Fae you choose to claim. I am. The Fae pauses for a moment. I am sorry about what I told your mother. About your father. His fingers tighten back up around the blankets. No, it's fine. Really? He looks out the window at the moon. Mom, well, she already told me about him. How he went crazy and attacked a bunch of people. He was a villain. Izuku slides out of the bed, only his undershirt and school. How did I not notice till now? He thinks, before grabbing the clothes Mom bought for him. It was his favorite All Might hoodie and a pair of sweatpants. What do you mean, Clay Mother Fae? Is that possible? Izuku asks as he changes. Yes, it is. To be honest, I do not know what drew me to you in the first place. I'm thinking it's a combination of my mom's quirk and dad's. You are most likely right. Us Fae, if that is the title we are sticking with, we are created from energy from a single spot. There are so many of us, it would be strong to count. Only the strongest ones, the figureheads, you may say, can be claimed. You just have to earn it. Izuku folds his torn clothes. And what did I do to earn your attention? He can feel Horida emit something close to a scoff in his head. You are strong, deep inside. You wanted to help the boy who caused you so much pain. You put their safety before yours. You are willing to do whatever it takes. That is what made me admire you. And now, do you think the same? Yes, I do. And I am sure I always will. Izuku pulls up his left sleeve to look at the gold dragon. Or, where the dragon was before, because she weren't there now. I'm on your shoulder, Izuku. Do not worry. He peeked under his collar. Sure enough, she was there, the outline glowing softly in the dark under his hoodie. I was just wondering. He says, walking towards the door of the hospital room. How do you do that? Later, Izuku. There will be time later. For now, you should go home and rest some more. Yeah, okay. Later. Mom smiles at him as he walks out and Izuku offers his elbow to her. Can we go home? Yeah, Izuku. We can. It's 3 days later. Mom had given him permission to skip school for a few days, given the, well, near-death experience. Right now, Izuku is sitting on the floor at the low table in the living room. Like the past few nights, he's asking 𝗧𝗧𝗍𝐿 questions while writing down notes. Mom had bought him a new notebook the day after he came home from the hospital. It was a bit smaller than the ones he owed, but it was twice as thick, with a dark LTHR cover and a personal engraving that read 𝐬𝐻 𝐍𝐴 Quirk analysis for himself. He had cried when Mom gave it to him. "It's time for you to study yourself," she had said. "Learn about your quirk just as much as you learn about others." Izuku had promised he would, and he did. He was already a few pages in. Name, 𝐬𝐻 𝐍𝐴 Quirk, Fey attraction, subject to change, most likely, age, 14 height, 5 feet 3 inches Fey attraction, Fey would be drawn to me, need to earn the Fey's approval before they even talk to me, can only claim the strong Fey - strong, is still TBD, age may be a factor, but Haru says it doesn't have to be, most likely a combination of mom and dad's quirks, dad had a claimed Fey. Mom has an attraction quirk, my quirk is to attract Fey, subject to change as new info shows claims, I can only claim what the Fey offers. Haru offered me her power and soul, and I accepted, meaning that I can wield her power and I hold part of her soul with mine. The amount of Fey I can claim at a time is TBD. Haru says that a man once could claim 10 Fey, but it was a life/death situation and he ended up dying. Not willing to do that, doesn't sound fun. I now have to eat enough to power both of us, myself plus Haru plus whatever extra energy Haru uses. Been eating a lot of tofu and rice lately, high-carb foods. If I die, my claim to Haru will be broken. She may become extremely weak because part of her soul is with mine. Haru can break off a claim herself, if she is willing to take the risk of death. Haru has somewhat of an influence on me, calming, mother-like, rest TBD. 𝗧𝗧𝗍𝐿 holder of strength. Gold denotes strength and wealth. Dragon, wisdom, strength, force for good. Can choose who hears her speak, can choose who notices her. She can't turn invisible, but if she has enough energy, she can hide her presence from view. A full form seems to be a large, physical manifestation of herself, not her natural form. Uses a lot of energy, doesn't stay in it for long. Wears a pale hikazuri. Gold pattern teikwaku throughout. Auspicious meaning, gold dragons around hemline. Dragons stand for strength, luck, and fortune. Very formal kimono for unmarried woman. Is Haru married? Haru is not married. Very large wings - 4 large ones - 2 thinner, ones with the bottom pair. Can she fly in this form? Yes, very gold. Why is everything about Haru gold? She doesn't know. - 4 eyes, solid gold. Bottom 2 are slightly farther apart than the top 2. Top set is where normal eyes should be. She can only blink in sets X. She can blink all 4 at once, or just the left set or right set. Do each set share eyelids? Each eye has eyelashes. Long hair, braided circlet. Hair is, as expected, very gold. Reaches about mid-back. Straight, no curls. Fey form, natural form. - 5 inches tall. Can carry a st ton. Is this just because she's the holder of strength or because she's Fey? Wings are smaller, like a hummingbird in terms of flapping. I thought Haru glowed very brightly, but it's just her wings when she's flying. - 4 eyes, hair the same, wears a dress with a corset, off-shoulder, bell sleeve white dress, corset, gold with red teikwaku detailing, wears black slippers, preferred resting spot, my head, tattoo form. Because we partially share souls now, it doesn't take energy. Resting, glows slightly, gold, just like literally everything else, in the shape of a dragon. The Japanese kind can move anywhere on my body. Largest, head to tail -13 inches, smallest, head to tail, -9 inches, you know, Haru, Izuku says as he puts his pencil down. I think we actually have a chance of getting into Yui now. Haru looks up from the book she's reading, in her Fey form. It's almost comical, Haru's small form resting on a pile of textbooks to gaze across a horror novel that she found in Izuku's room. Izuku, why do you want to get into Yui so badly? He lets out a confused huff of laughter. What do you mean? I am just wondering. She sits up, hanging her tiny legs off the edge of the stack. Why do you want to become a hero? I want to become a hero because I want to help people. I want to be the reason why they know they're safe. Izuku rests his chin on his palm. Who wouldn't want to be that? I suppose so. Does it have to do with your father? She pressed gently. He looks away. I don't know, really. Mom never told me much about him, I guess. But I know I don't ever want to be like him. I don't want people to get hurt, and 𝐻𝐻𝐻 changes the subject. Tell me about this entrance exam. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 gives her a small smile before abiding to her request. Not much is known about it, he says, grabbing another notebook from on the table and opening it to when he had done intense research about the exam. There's 2 parts, a practical exam and a written one. I think I'll do pretty well on the written, given my current grades. But the practical, 𝐻𝐻𝐻 flies down on top of the open notebooks, reading what he wrote. Will you have to fight something? Most likely, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 admits to her. She turns to look up at him, all 4 eyes unblinking. Then you will need a weapon. But 𝐻𝐻𝐻, I have you. I can punch things. He mimicked a boxer stance. Yes, but that will not be enough, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻. A good hero cannot have only one trick. Oh, she's right. Even All Might can do more than a smash. He groans and flops backward on the warm rug. Okay, so what do you recommend I do? Weapons aren't allowed in the exam. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 hears 𝐻𝐻𝐻 humming thoughtfully from the table. You should win the favor of a water fae. A water fae? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 echoes, tilting his head up to look at her. Why a water fae? Specifically, a saltwater fae. She elaborates. They almost always become weapons. There is a beach nearby, is there not? 𝐻𝐻𝐻 asks as she flies to the large living room windows and looking out onto the balcony and city beyond. His memory provides him of images of the nearby beach. Once sparkling and gorgeous, it was now littered with garbage and large pieces of scrap metal. 𝐻𝐻𝐻, the beach is now, he tries to think of a word and sighs when he can't find one. It's totally trashed. Then clean it. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 sits up at this and stares at 𝐻𝐻𝐻 with the most incredulous look. 𝐻𝐻𝐻 stares right back. You want me to clean almost 1.5 miles of beach trash in order to gain favor of a saltwater fae so I can get a weapon? Yes. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 sighs so strong, he swears he can feel his soul leave his body. Not to mention, you will also become physically stronger. And you are doing a good deed. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻, it will be worth it. Ugh, hi, fine. Dash. 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 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 gets to work the next day. Why? Probably because he hates his life and loves to cause himself pain. Well, that's just an excuse, but it's also not wrong. Mom is a bit worried, as expected, but once he promises not to hurt himself and 𝐻𝐻𝐻 promises to keep him safe, she has a little more peace of mind. She contacts an old friend who owns a large pickup and the friend says that they'll leave it there the next morning and come pick it up when it's full. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 leaves the house early in the morning, jogging to the far end of the beach and scouting out all the trash. There's a lot, all piled up almost 6 feet tall in some parts. He's not too sure how he's going to pull this off, but F the rules. He's gonna do his best. Just as he requested, a large pickup truck was waiting for him. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 starts off with the more medium-sized pieces of trash, wearing work gloves so he wouldn't cut his hands on anything. He has a large garbage bag tied to his waist to put smaller pieces into. 𝐻𝐻𝐻 flies around him, keeping him company. Occasionally, she would grab something, too, and carry it over to the truck. He nearly himself when he sees her small form pick up a giant car tire. 6 hours later, he climbs on top of a fridge to eat lunch. 𝐻𝐻𝐻 sits next to him, munching on an apple. They'd worked strong and they'd cleaned a decent portion of trash, but compared to the rest of the beach, it was nothing. I have a lot of work to do. I have so much to do. Ugh. I think we did good, 𝐻𝐻𝐻. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 told her. He watches the glittering water and hears the waves crash onto the sand. The sun was hot on his back, and he was sweaty and tired and sore. 𝐻𝐻𝐻 nods. They finished their lunch and got straight back to working. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐻 loses himself to the process. Find trash, pick it up, carry it to the truck, repeat. By the time it was 3 in the afternoon, the truck was finally filled. They were out there for 9 hours. I don't think I can move my arms anymore. 𝐬𝐡𝐚𝐭 thinks as the throws the final trash bag on top of the pile formed on the truck. He takes a sip from his water bottle and sighs. Ugh, I have to walk home now. That's so gross, honestly. Come on, 𝐬𝐡𝐭. It's just a mile. He lifts his head to half-heartedly glare at her. A mile and a half, actually. 𝐬𝐡𝐬 hums and grabs his small bag that once contained his lunch. That's not so bad. Let us go. Your mom will be waiting. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 sighs. I guess. He says, pulling out his phone to shoot off a message to mom. By some miracle, he manages to drag himself home. How he does it? He doesn't know. 𝐬𝐡𝐭's just so tired that by the time he reaches his apartment door, he's ready to pass out. 𝐬𝐡𝐭, baby. Are you okay? Mom cries out when she opens the door for him, seeing how he's not in a state to unlock the door himself. He lifts his head up just an inch to look at her. Mom, I think I'm dying. She laughs and helps him through the doorway to take off his shoes. 𝐬𝐡𝐬 flies into the back of the apartment and zips into the bathroom. The sound of running water spills out a moment later. Mom wipes away a sweaty mop of green hair off his forehead. I'm sure you're fine. Go wash up, I'll get dinner started. Thanks, Mom. He tells her as he stumbles into the bathroom. The tub was almost filled to the top, the water warm enough that steam was coming off the top of it. 𝐬𝐡𝐬 flirts around him for a moment. I need to go do something. Do not fall asleep in the water. I won't. He says as he strips off all his clothes and steps into the water. It's very hot, but it's a warm welcome to his sore muscles as he sinks in. 𝐬𝐻 stays for a moment before flying out of the bathroom and closing the door. God, today was a lot. Everything hurts, sis. I'm never moving my arms again. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 lets his head loll back onto the cool tile. He stays there for a few minutes before sitting up and dunking his head into the water a few times. He lathers his hair up with soap and rinses it out, grabbing his face wash. 10 minutes later, he's done, but he still sits in the tub. 𝐬𝐡𝐭. 𝐬𝐻 zips back in and lands on top of his shampoo bottle. She's holding a few papers in her hand and she sounds excited, which was unusual, seeing how 𝐬𝐻 was stoic most of the time. Look at this. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 reaches out of the tub to grab a towel and dries his hands before taking the papers 𝐬𝐻 was holding. It had extremely detailed plans of his day, down to meal plans and sleep times. 𝐬𝐻, what is this? He asks, although he felt as though he already knew. She flaps her wings a few times, almost vibrating with excitement. It is a workout plan for the next 10 months to get you in shape for the UE entrance exam. It is meant to strengthen your body and keep you healthy. 𝐬𝐻 pumps a tiny fist in the air. You're going to be so strong. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 grins. She's the holder of strength, of course she would be this excited over workout plans. Sounds good. Will you be okay, 𝐬𝐡𝐭? Mom asks as she holds out his bag. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 finishes lacing up his Nikes and stands up. Don't worry, Mom. I have 𝐬𝐻. Said Faye was currently curled up on his shoulder, sleeping in her dragon form. She tired herself out from cleaning this morning and honestly, 𝐬𝐡𝐭 couldn't blame her. Over the past few days, he had gotten better at feeling where 𝐬𝐻 was on his body, most likely because he was used to her now. Mom fidgets for a moment. I know, she sighs. I just worry sometimes, especially after that villain attack. He smiles sadly before bending down to give her a hug, green hair mixing with the same green. I'll be fine. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 straightens out. I have to go now, bye, Mom. I love you, honey. I love you, too, Mom. The walk to school is actually quite nice. 𝐬𝐡𝐭 changed the route he took so he wouldn't have to go through that old tunnel anymore. The now route took a few more minutes, but it led him through a pretty park with a flower garden. By the time he reaches the school, 𝐬𝐡𝐭 is in good spirits and 𝐬𝐻 had woken up, choosing to stay in her current form and sliding down from his shoulder to wrap around his hand. When he looks down, He can see half of her glowing dragon peek out from the hem of his sleeve. The good mood lasts until he reaches his classroom. The moment he walks through the door, everyone turns to look at him. There's a pause before everyone is suddenly standing up and bombarding him with questions. Midoriya. I didn't know you had a quirk. How'd you get a quirk? What was it like meeting 𝐀𝐻𝐬 Woods? Yeah. Was he as cool in real life as he is on TV? I didn't think you had the ball to fight a bad guy, Midoriya. Nah, knowing him, he must have been bricks. 𝐹 extras. Izuku's classmates parted like the Red Sea to let Kaken through. He takes a step back, staring at the hatred-filled red eyes. Kaken. Shut up, shitty Deku. The blonde leans forwards into Izuku's space. Whose quirk did you steal? Izuku blinks. What? He stammers out. What do you mean? Kaken snarls, whose quirk did you steal? Unless you were hiding it all this goddamn time, because if you were, we're gonna have a motherfucking problem. Izuku, stay calm. Tell him the truth. Then leave. I don't know if I can do that, Haru. Then do your best. Her presence around his hand is grounding and he squeezes his fist. Well. Answer me. Kaken screams at him and he flinches. The other boy grins, wild and wicked. Izuku prays to all the gods that would listen to him and tells them his will, just in case he, dies. It's my quirk, Kaken. No one gave it to Mimi. And with that, he slides past him and walks over to his seat, collapsing into it. Izuku's head hits the desk. Good job, Izuku. Haru, I think I just signed my death warrant. Izuku whispers under his breath. You did fine. Now, head up. Class is starting. Luck must really be on his side today, because he manages to avoid Kaken the entire day. Well, Haru helps too, once she's in her Fey form. She flies around corners, telling him if the coast is clear. Even if Kaken is there, wouldn't he see you? Izuku asks during lunch. The Fey her head around. As if I would let such a barbarian gaze upon my presence. Yeah, that's fair, Haru. Afternoon classes goes without a hitch as well, and Izuku, for once, manages to get work done without constant fear of getting attacked. Haru helps him during English, seeing as she is actually pretty good at it, and they complete all of his exercises without a mistake. So, everything is going well, right? That means that Izuku can end the day and walk home without being bullied, right? Haha, that would be wrong. Kaken corners him as he's leaving the building and grabs his collar, dragging him away from prying eyes into a small nook. Izuku winces as he's shoved backwards, hitting the solid wall. Kaken. Start talking, Deku, before I explode your worthless butt face. How'd you get a shitty quirk? He chokes out a small laugh. Actually, 𝐀𝐻𝐬 came to me, 𝐬𝐻𝐬. Kaken glares at him, sharp and red, and Izuku drags his gaze sideways. Don't act smart with me. I am not. My quirk, it's complicated, Kaken. Then you better start talking. He sneers. The crackle and pop of Kaken's palms causes him to panic. Jesus what do I do? Do I tell him? Do I run? Do I just take whatever? What do I do? Horror stirs on his skin from where she was resting, but she doesn't move to help him. Izuku, what do you want to do? What do I want? Haru, I want to leave. I gave you my strength. Use it. Use it. What the hell does that mean? Mother goddamn just FIT. Izuku looks back at Kaken and meets his crimson stare. He takes his forearm and shoves the other boy away before backing away into the light. The explosions are getting louder now and the blonde looks off as red eyes lock in with green. Izuku takes a deep breath and makes his final stand. This is my quirk. I'm going to learn how to use it and I swear, I'm going to be the best hero there ever was. Even if that includes being better than you, 𝐻𝐻𝐬 turns his back on him and sighs. 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝗀. I'm going to get strong. I'm going to get into 𝐸. Someone important once told me that in order to become a hero, I must do what others wouldn't. I will do whatever it takes. And he walks away from 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝗀. Later, he'll hyperventilate about what he told his childhood friend and wonder where those words came from while 𝐻𝐸 laughs at him. But for now, he's confident in what he said. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 works strong, harder than he ever did before. He wakes up 4 in the morning and jogs out to the beach, doing 5 laps, close to 8 miles. He cleans up trash for the next 3 hours until 7, where he runs home and gets cleaned up for school. A healthy breakfast is cooked and a large lunch is packed. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 goes to school, and once it's over, he comes home and does all his homework before heading out to the beach for another 3 hours. He's in bed by 9. 𝐴𝐻𝐬 jokingly complains about the amount of food she has to buy, but isn't serious. She would do anything for him. 𝐻𝐸 is merciless in her workout plan, stepping it up every 2 weeks or so. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 is exhausted by the end of the day, but now, he welcomes the soreness in his muscles. He knows it'll go away soon. Every other day, 𝐸𝐡𝐚 tests the limits of 𝐻𝐸's armor form, punching rusted refrigerators and busted up cars. She teaches him proper fighting stance and how to land solid hits. They improve, together. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 has Sundays off from working out, and he usually spends it with Mom, helping her run errands and eating lunch together. During spring cleaning, 𝐻𝐸 found a pair of heels she described as black block-heeled sandals in Mom's closet, and she had gifted them to the 𝗧𝗱, saying that they were too big for her. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 felt that 𝐻𝐸 wanted to cry, but it didn't show too much. Their bond grows. Slowly, they make progress. It's strong to tell sometimes, but in some moments, it hits 𝐸𝐡𝐚 like a truck. Like the day where he could finally lift a broken washing machine out of the sand, or when he finally ran a sub-5 mile in his PE class. He grins and spits out BLD when he bites his tongue. Speaking of school, it's gotten a little easier. With 𝐻𝐸's help, 𝐸𝐡𝐚 expertly avoided 𝗵𝘃𝗀𝐀 and his squad. He doesn't really have any friends, but he has 𝐻𝐸, so he counts that as a win. People also don't avoid him anymore, now that he has a quirk. 𝐸𝐡𝐚 hasn't made an effort to show them, but shaky videos from the sludge villain attack was enough for them. He works out when he's studying, too, choosing to spend his allowance on buying training grips and dumbbells. He gets stronger. Katsuki knows that 𝗵𝗃𝗀 is avoiding him. It has to do something with his quirk, he's sure, but he's never seen it besides the one video from the attack months ago. Other students say that sometimes, they catch a ball of light floating around Deku. If that's his quirk, it seems useless. Katsuki runs in the morning and, like clockwork, he and Deku just happen to run past each other. He always pretends he doesn't notice the green-haired teen, whose shirts always seem tighter every time he passes, but the moment he's gone, he lets himself grin a little. It's nice to see someone else trying to work as strong as him to reach 𝐸𝐸. He shakes his head, wiping the stupid grin from his face and replacing it with a scowl. Why did it have to be 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗀? 𝐴𝐻𝐬 notices her son growing up so fast. She cries about it sometimes, wondering how her little boy grew into a teen filled with muscle and ambition. In some moments, she has to look away because he just looks so much like the man she once loved. The large burn across 𝐴𝐻𝐬's chest ignites at night when she tries to remember the sweet moments with her dead husband. Maybe one day, she thinks, I will tell 𝐸𝐡𝐚 the truth. Despite this, though, she still smiles for 𝐸𝐡𝐚 because she can see the great strides he took to get to where he is. Her son is more confident now, standing with pride and a warm grin. It's a stark contrast compared to who he was not long ago. She giggles with him when she points out how tight his shirts are getting. The old memories hurt, but 𝐴𝐻𝐬 pushes it aside and creates happier ones. Dash. 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 The morning is cool and crisp. Waves crash and roll onto the shore, blending into the background sounds of seagulls crying and cars starting to roar. The water glitters under the soft morning glow, reflecting gold and blue. He stands on top of the last pile of trash he will ever have to clean off this beach. The steel is cold and sold under his bare feet and sweat runs down his body. He breathes, deep and long, a gold dragon purrs softly on his back. The salty wind of the sea embraces his shirtless form in untimed patterns, causing his green hair to fly around his eyes. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 screams. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 screams up towards the sky. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 screams while heavy tears roll down his face. I did it. I actually did it. I did what other people wouldn't do. His scream breaks off with a sob wrenching out of his throat. He wipes his eyes and sniffs and grins so wide, he's concerned for his face muscles. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 stands strong, feeling the morning light of his future wash over him. And he staggers. And trips. And he falls. He falls off the pile of trash and a yelp catches in the throat. SHT I came this far I'm not dying. Are you? Horror god damn it I'm going to die. Oh my god, I'm going to die dash 𝐬𝐻𝐸's cry is cut off as he lands in someone's arms, bridal style. The person descends much more gracefully than 𝐬𝐻𝐸 ever could. Are you okay, kid? The person asks, setting him down on the sand. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 rubs his head where all the blood rush towards. Yeah, I am. Then his thank you is cut short when he notices who saved him. He's clearly a fae, glowing like horror does, but a cool blue with smooth curls of wings to match. He's wearing a light blue yukata with white and navy 𝐀𝐦 pattern along the hem, along with dark blue catfish. He's wearing the yukata very loosely on the top, letting the fabric fold over to show dark tanned skin and a very toned body. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 blushes and raises his face to the fae's face where he's greeted by a smile and solid blue eyes. His hair is an ombre of dark blue to white, wrapped up into long dreads, half of it pulled up in a bun and the rest falling down his shoulders. You're a fae. The fae grins at him. Yeah, I am. No 𝐴𝐸𝐬 weirdo or anything, but I've been watching you clean up the hula beach, kid. You did go OD. Oh, thanks. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 laughs and rubs that back of his neck. You know I want to be claimed with you. He looks up so fast, he might have gotten whiplash. What? Yeah, kid. Sorry if I'm blunt, but listen, the fae shifts his weight. I've been stuck on this beach for the past 10 years, which isn't a lot for what did you call me? A fae. But if me. I'm supposed to be constantly moving. He turns his head and gazes towards the sea. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 notices that his ears and pointed and webbed. You read the 𝐿𝐻𝐸 did anything. Oh. Yeah, so, if you don't mind, I want to help you continue doing your best. The fae looks at 𝐬𝐻𝐸. His blue eyes look thoughtful and it shakes 𝐬𝐻𝐸 to the very core, sending shivers down his back. I am the catcher of waves, 𝗚𝗛𝐻𝐸. I ask you to carry my 𝗵𝑊𝑒𝐻 and hold my soul. Call upon me. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 nods, already knowing the protocol. I am Midoriya 𝐬𝐻𝐸. I accept to carry your power and treasure your soul alongside my own. I call upon you, 𝗚𝗛𝐻𝐸. 𝗚𝗛𝐻𝐸 flashes him a quick grin of his own before he's whisked away in a glowing ball of blue, floating about the sand. It lengthens out, forming the base of a staff, but the top melting into 3 prongs. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 grabs him out of the air once the glow dies down. The weight is perfect. He thinks, twirling the weapon in the air. It feels completely natural, an extension of his own arm. Up close, 𝐬𝐻𝐸 can see small wave patterns running up and down the glowing metal, always changing. It's taller than he is, almost 6 feet tall. Give me a 𝗃𝗏. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 nods and does just that, bending his body and feeling 𝗚𝗛𝐻𝐸 silently guide him. He throws him, and 𝗚𝗛𝗻𝗻𝐸 flies straight to the end of the beach, more than a mile. He is strong. Horror says. He nods in agreement and holds his hand out on instinct. Immediately, 𝗚𝗛𝗻𝗻𝗛 comes flying back, settling firmly in his grip. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 has a trident. 𝗚𝗛𝗻𝗛𝗛 transforms back, this time into a fae form. He's wearing a white t-shirt and blue surfer shorts. Somehow, he has sunglasses but no shoes. Izuku shakes his head and laughs a little. Namihashu, where'd you get the sunglasses from? 𝗓𝗍's small form shrugs. I saw Somi dude over there wearing them. 𝗓𝗨𝐬𝐻𝐿. Horu flies out from Izuku's arm. I am Horu de Shirioku. Call me Horu. Call me Nami, then. Izuku, call me Ni-san. Izuku flushes red and waves his hands, stepping backwards. I couldn't. Do it. Please. Yoyuri stuck with me forever no W, anyways. His puppy dog eyes were on point and Izuku groans, hiding his head in his hands. Fine. Ni-san. Ni-san lets out a happy trill and flies around him. Even Horu seems to be hiding a smile behind her small hand. Okay, boys. Let us go home. Izuku's going to have a fever for the rest of today, and tomorrow, we have to start training for the entrance exam next week. Oh yeah, you want to become me a hero, right? Izuku glances at him as he gathers up his things and pulls on his shoes. He makes a face at the feeling of sand stuck between his toes, and now that Horu mentioned it, he could feel a strong headache coming along. How'd you know? Izuku, we share 𝐶𝑜ULS no W. I know W everything 𝐴𝐵UTOU. He nods, slowly. Okay. Great. Love that for us. Horu come up to Ni-san. Come, Nami. Best to not tire out Izuku even more. She dives into his skin once she's done talking, the golden dragon flickering brightly to life. The other Fae nods and a moment later, Izuku has a brilliant blue catfish swimming along his chest. He grins and starts the walk home. Training for the next few days will SCK, but at least today was great. Izuku's fever breaks while he's sleeping at night, causing him to wake up in the morning sweaty and sticky. He lies there for a moment, staring up at the All Might poster pinned above his bed. It was from one of his old TV shows, the hero striking a rather silly pose, but it always makes Izuku smile in the morning. I'm doing this for you, All Might. I'm gonna be the best DMN hero you've ever seen. Izuku, while your admiration is, well, admirable, could it wait till later? It's too early. Yeah, I'ma have to agree with her here, lil dude. It's way too early in the morning. He shifts in the bed, catching sight of his alarm clock. Guys, it's only 9 a.m., that's not early. He tells them, sliding his feet out of the blankets and sitting up, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Ni-san flies of his chest with a pull. Note early. Kid, you were puking your guts out all of yesterday. 9 a.m. is note inoug. He flies up to Izuku's chest and tries to push him back into the bed, but it just feels like slight pressure. Nah, you are going back to sleep. Why are you like this? Izuku questions with a laugh, standing up. Horu likes waking up early, though. No, I like waking up early when we are working out. You have today off, so I see no reason to get out of bed. And 9 is late by my standards. But Nami is right. You should sleep more. He peers down and sees her curled up around his ankle. You move a lot in your sleep, Horu. Is that a problem? Izuku shakes his head, walking over to his closet and grabbing clothes for today. It was thankfully a Saturday, and he and Mom were planning to go shopping for the upcoming school year. You sure do go to lot of All Might stuff, kid. Ni-san points out, settling on Izuku's shoulder and peering at his clothes. You just realized. He walks into the bathroom opposite of his own room and turns on the shower. He's my favorite hero, Ni-san. Yeah, I can feel that every time you look okay at him. I can too. Oh, sorry. He laughs nervously. Nah, it's fine. Kind of cute, you know W. Izuku shakes his head and climbs into the shower. Seriously, why are you like this? Dash. 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 Morning, Mom. Mom looks up from where she's setting out plates for breakfast. Oh, good morning, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬. She comes up to him and puts the back of her hand to his forehead. How are you feeling? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 waves her away, sliding around her to grab the cutlery she left on the kitchen counter. I'm fine. I think the fever broke last night while I was sleeping. He sets them out on the table alongside the plates of food. Bacon, eggs, and rice. Yum. Hey, kid, what's up with dash? 𝐀𝐦 flies in before stopping. Oh. Hi. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 almost facepalms. How did I forget to introduce them? Ugh, hi. He gestures to the blue fae. Mom, this is 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸, a new fae I claimed. 𝐀𝐦, he says, waving at Mom, this is my mom, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐬 𝐒𝐞𝐜. The fae buzzes for a moment before flying towards her. Nice to meet you, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸. Call me Nami. A loud groan comes out from his throat and this time, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 does a full-on facepalm. 𝐀𝐦. Mom just laughs with a smile. Nice to meet you, too, Nami. Now, let's sit down and eat. She looks at 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸. Where's 𝐻oru? I am right here, 𝐴𝐻oru. 𝐻oru cries, slipping out of 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸's skin with a gold flash. He shakes his head and sits down at the table. I swear, only two things can get 𝐻oru excited. Mom and working out. As per usual, 𝐻oru grabs an apple from the bowl of fruit. 𝐀𝐦 just decides to steal a piece of bacon from 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸's plate. 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 playfully swats him away with a smile. Get your own, 𝐀𝐦. Blue and white dreads fall as the fae shakes his head. Nah, don't feel like it. They eat breakfast in comfortable silence, with only a few questions asked by Mom here and there. Once they finish, 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 helps Mom wash up the plates before he heads to the sink to grab a glass of water and 𝐻oru and Mom go to her room to get ready to go out. Hey, kid. Check this out. 𝐀𝐦 tells him, before flying over to stand on the hand holding the glass. Watch. And 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 does watch. He watches as 𝐀𝐦 holds his hand out above the water and he can actually feel the fae concentrating, like a tiny pull in his chest. Slowly, droplets of water rises out of the glass, more and more before a ball of water the size of a quarter is floating there. 𝐀𝐦 grins at him before letting it fall back down with a splash. Isn't that cool? 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 laughs with him. Yeah, actually, that is. Is that as much as you can do? Is it limited to just water? What's the maximum limit of water you can hold at once? How much energy does it take? 𝐀𝐦 jumps off his hand and flies as 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸 goes to drink his water. Chill outfors sec, k. The fae pauses for a moment, looking thoughtful. I can hold way 𝐬𝐻oru, I can manipulate salt water much more easily, but it's only water. When I'm in my full 𝐴𝐻oru, I can control way too much, and in this 𝐴𝐻oru, it doesn't really take too much, at least the amount I just did. He looks up to meet 𝐬𝐻𝐻𝐸's gaze. Although I really do that you will all be able to do this, too. He nods his head and finishes his water. So you don't think that power would be passed on to me? That actually kind of makes sense, seeing as your, engaged form is a physical object, like 𝐻oru's. Engaged 𝐴𝐻oru. Where'd that come from? 𝐬𝐻oru scratched the back of his neck. I don't know, but it just sounds right. He says with a shrug. 𝐀𝐦 shrugs back. It's whatever. Sounds fine to me. 𝐬𝐻oru. Nami. Are you ready? Is your phone charged? Mom calls out to them as she walks back into the kitchen. She's all bundled up for the cold weather outside, which reminds 𝐬𝐻oru to grab his own sweater. His phone is already in his back pocket. Yeah, let me just get a jacket and put my shoes on. He quickly walked into his room and reached into his closet, looking for the black puffer jacket he had since forever. It may be a bit small on him now, actually, but what mattered was that he was warm. No, kid, wear this one. Izuku turns around to see 𝐸 holding an old denim jacket he never wore because it was too big. Now, however, he shrugs it on over the faded All Might hoodie he's wearing and swipes a black beanie off the back of his chair from where he left it, pulling it over his green mess of curls. Izuku looks at his mirror and gives a small smile. Not bad, 𝐸. Not bad at all. 𝐸 laughs and strikes a pose. Why are you surprised? I'm a 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬 after all. Izuku shakes his head and leaves the room, grabbing his wallet and hitting the light SWCH on the way out. You're literally not wearing shoes. Neither are you. That's fair. Dash. 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 You know, I really expected it to be more crowded. Mom murmurs as they walk into the mall. The train to the large shopping center was a short one, only about 10 minutes or so. 𝐸 had expressed his discomfort about small spaces and left the air to swim around Izuku's body as a catfish. Haru, however, was sitting on Izuku's head, just people watching. He could feel her slight interest through their claim and Izuku smiles. They had gotten so far in the past 10 months. What do you mean? Izuku asks, linking his arm with Mom's. Now that he looked around, though, he could see what she meant. It was quite empty. Oh. She shakes her head and laughs slightly. Anyways, let's get going. You need a new backpack, and definitely new unless you want to continue wearing cropped jeans. He grimaces and gives her a look. Please, no. They're actually quite tight. All of my now. He tells her, furrowing his brow. Mom laughs again. Why didn't you tell me that? Okay, let's go. They start off with the closest store on their list, an athletic store where Izuku buys a few pairs compression leggings and shorts. Mom drags him out before he could get too lost in the sea of workout gear, straight into another store where she makes him try on multiple pairs of until she's satisfied, purchasing him multiple pairs of jeans, sweatpants, and shorts. Izuku tries to complain, but Mom insisted, pulling out the "You deserve it" card. He shuts his mouth and 𝐸 and Haru snicker at him. Mom walks into a few more stores, buying more shirts, and even an unnecessary pair of sleek boots, which Izuku tries to convince her to return. She retaliates by saying that his red Nikes were almost worn to the barest threads and that if he really wants to return them, he would have to get rid of his Nikes. When Izuku tells her he's willing to do so, she laughs awkwardly and waves him off, pushing him into another changing room. They stop for lunch at the food court. Izuku carries over a tray with 2 bowls on udon over to where Mom had found them a table. Now that it was later in the afternoon, there were more people around and Izuku had to talk loudly just so Mom could hear him. Have you filled out the exam forms yet? She asks him. The ones for Haru and Nami. Izuku looks at his half-eaten bowl of noodles and pokes at it with his chopsticks. No, not really. When he meets her angry gaze, he stammers and backpedals. I mean, I did get started, I just haven't finished. He ends in a question. He has not fully tested Nami's engaged form yet. That is what he is waiting for. Izuku nods quickly, pointing at his head, happy for the excuse. See? I'm planning on doing it. And it won't be too strong, he trails off when he notices that Mom isn't listening. She was staring off somewhere over his shoulder, hand raised and playing with her earlobe. Mom. He waved his hand across her view for good measure. Mom. She snaps back. What? Yes. Mom laughs quietly and relaxes. Sorry, I was lost in thought. You were saying. Izuku shakes his head. No, it's fine. What were you thinking about? He sees her ponder for a moment over a spoonful of noodles before she swallows and opens her mouth again. There's a jewelry shop over there. I used to have my ears pierced, but they closed up. I would get them done again, but, she gives a small laugh. Last time, it hurt way too much. I guess I'm a bit scared. Izuku stares at her in wonder for a small second before bursting into a bright beam. Then let's get it done together. What? Let's get our ears pierced together, Mom. It'll be fun, I swear. He keeps his smile bright. And I'll be there. I've always wanted to get them done, anyways. Mom blinks at him before laughing and shaking her head in amusement. Oh, Izuku, you're too much. But can we get them done? She hesitates for a moment before responding. Sure, why not? Dash. 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 Ow. Oh, sorry, Izuku. Mom smiles at him before listening her vice-like grip on his hands. She accepts the mirror the store person gives to her, looking at the dainty little star studs adorning her ears. They look so cute. What was I thinking, she says, more to herself, thinking it would hurt so much. Izuku laughs along with her as he helps her hop off the tall chair. The place itself was quite cute, clearly made for teen girls, with a modern white and rose-pink theme, but they gladly helped Izuku and his mother with open arms. Quite literally. The women helping them has 4 arms. It was amazing. He sits on the now free chair, making small talk with the 4-armed woman as she cleans his ear with a something cold, an antibacterial wipe, if he has to guess. Mom helps him with the placement of his earrings, making sure they weren't off-centered. Mom had chosen matching gold star studs for them both, saying how he was the star in her life, which was totally cheesy, but not unexpected. Horu and 𝐸 both approved, the latter going straight to look at the other earrings they offered in the store. The woman picks up the piercing gun and Izuku looks straight ahead at the small crown display on the other side of the store. Okay, are you ready? He nods, once, and he can feel her lining the needle up. Count down with me, please. She requests. Mom has her hand on his knee because Izuku was too scared of breaking it if he grabbed onto it. She smiles at him, safe and reassuring. Okay. They count together, from 5. 5, 4, 3, TW-OW. Mom is giggling at him and he does his best to glare at her, but it doesn't work. Sweetie, you should have seen the look on your face. I didn't laugh at you, Mom. Izuku complains, without any real heat behind his words. He sighs as he prepares himself for his other ear to be done. Ear number 2 goes by much smoother and strangely hurts less. When he picks up the mirror, he can't help but gasp softly. The earrings were small and dainty, but they looked so cute. Ugh, I love them already, Nanny the F. Is this self-care? I wouldn't know LMAO. Mom talks with the store women as Izuku keeps admiring his new accessories. 𝐸 flies up close to him, with Horu next to him. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 I think I'm gonna get a pair like that too. Izuku furrows his brow. Can you even do that? He and Horu nod. Sure, we can. Already did, in fact. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 Izuku looks closer and notices the small glints of silver in the 𝐲𝐻𝐸 earlobes, tiny, but clearly a star. I thought you guys had to have the article before and you'd shrink it down. Oh, we can do that. Horu does that, because she cares about the economy or so meeting like that. The Fae in question looks away, pouting slightly. I just do not think it is fair. Why should that be a problem? It's not. Izuku reassures her, but he can see the small stars in her ears, too. They look good on you guys. We're matching. It would seem as though we are. I do not know how I feel about that. Ah, Horu, you love us. Perhaps. Dash. 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 Ugh, my god, Horu, can we please take a break? Izuku was, in a sense, totally dead. Horu has 𝐸 and him run multiple tests, some where she sits back and records in Izuku's notebook, others where she's training with them. No. And with that, she punches Izuku right in his chest, causing him to fly back in the air and land quite a few feet away from shore, in the water. It might have been concerning if the waves didn't carry him, almost bridal style, back to shore and onto his feet. His chest hurts from where her tiny fist had connected with his body, but he'll live. The water pulls off of him, leaving him standing dry. No one is going to go easy on you in a fight. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 makes a face and nods. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but also, like, we've been fighting for a straight 2 hours now. He points to his neck where Nissan had disappeared to when he was punched. Can we go home? The exam is tomorrow. No point in tiring me out, you know. Hora's gold form flutters for a minute before flying over and sinking softly into his skin as a dragon. I suppose so. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 grins. If I had to say, I would guess that Hora was actually tired for once. He gathers up his things and makes the short walk home, waving to some of the familiar faces he passes by. All the neighbors, by now, know of Midoriya 𝐬𝐻𝐸, the kid who cleaned up the entire beach and is working towards Yui. But it's a neighborhood secret, because when reporters or tourists ask who did it, they just smile and give knowing looks, avoiding the question. 𝐬𝐻𝐸's calves burn slightly from walking up all the stairs to his apartment, but he pushes it to the back of his mind as he opens the door. Mom. I'm home. I'm in the kitchen, sweetie. You'd never guess who I ran into at the store. He takes his shoes off and hands up the hoodie he was wearing. Who'd you run into? He asks, walking into the kitchen where she called form. Mom smiles at him, holding a cup of tea. She gestures to the blonde head of hair sitting at their dinner table. You remember Takayama-san, right? 𝐬𝐻𝐸 freezes mid-step as the head turns and fixes him with her signature purple eyes. Hi, 𝐬𝐻𝐸. How is it these days? Takayama-san, also known as Pro Hero Mount Lady. But she is better known to the Midoriyas as Yu Takayama, 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸's cousin. She often stayed at the 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸 household either to house-sit while they were away, or to babysit the younger 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸. Recently, though, she was staying less and less, due to her job working as a pro. The only similarities that Takayama and 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸 share are their same sandy blonde hair and their brash attitudes, although 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸's god complex is obviously way more prominent than his cousin's. If 𝐬𝐻𝐸 isn't so used to seeing her around from when he was little, he surely would have passed out from excitement. After all, Mount Lady was sitting at his dinner table, drinking a cup of tea with Mom. Instead, he just walked over to the sink and grabbed a glass of water from himself. He's still a sweaty mess, but he knows they wouldn't mind too much. It's good. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 replies, to her earlier question. He sits down, SHTF, my chest. UGH is pain the only thing I know, across from her, facing both of the women. What about you? What's it like being a pro? Takayama sighs, setting her cup down. She's clearly off duty, with her hair swept up to a messy bun, save the two iconic curls in the front. Instead of her typical flashy outfit, she was donned in a pair of faded purple sweatpants and an old gray shirt, one that had the worn-out 𝐸𝐻 logo on the chest. It's been, she hesitates, resting her fingers on her lips, a nervous habit she had for as long as 𝐬𝐻𝐸 had known her for. To be honest, it's been quite strong, more so than I expected. There's a lot of comments from the media about everything I do. She sighs. But what can you do about it? I'm just trying to do my best. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 nods as they lapse into comfortable silence. Eventually, Mom speaks out. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 wants to get into Yui. Takayama nods. I know. 𝐜𝐻𝐸 told me. Although most of his fear of 𝗵𝘃𝐻𝐸 had washed away out of sheer determination, a soft squeak escapes his lips. He talked to you about me. Well, yeah. She says. I mean, I asked him and all, but he just said you got a quirk and now you're trying to one-up him or something bullshit like that. Takayama fixes him with a stare. What is your quirk, by the way? I thought you didn't have one. Oh, yeah. 𝐬𝐻𝐸 laughs nervously. It's recent. I call it Fey attraction, he explains. There are these powerful spirit/creatures called the Fey and I can create a bond with them, called a claim, and we enter a mutually beneficial relationship where I can use them to fight. They're resting right now, though, he says, showing her the glowing dragon and catfish. You might actually have a chance. Takayama grins, light and carefree, although Izuku doesn't ignore the calculating edge in her eyes. And I can clearly see that you've been working out. That's good, too. The entrance exams are tomorrow, right? Izuku finishes his water. Yeah, it is. Any tips? He sends her a lazy smile. Or perhaps, he lowers his voice to a stage whisper. What the physical is. Takayama makes a motion of sealing her lips and throwing away the key. Nope, not allowed to tell you. I'm pretty sure Nizu will hunt me down and no one will ever see Mount Lady again, which would honestly be very sad. I do know the other schools had to do something with robots or something, that's what 𝐀𝐦 told me, at least. 𝐀𝐦. Mom questions. The woman nods. Katsukin and I's other cousin, Cammy. She goes to Shiketsu. Haven't we told you guys about her before? Shiketsu High School, the best hero school in the West, with you, in the East. Izuku grimaces. No doubt Yui would have something of the same. Would it be big robots? What's the size, exactly? And what's the scoring system, if there's any at all? Actually, would they even have a scoring system? How strong are the robots? They're clearly strong enough to fight, but that means many different things, honestly. Will they have different abilities, or will they just be stationary? Wouldn't that be bad, though? What if you don't have a physical quirk that allows you to fight such overpowered things? How is Yui going to test people with quirks like that? Now that I'm thinking about it, it seems a bit unfair, because it most certainly will cause someone's score to suffer because of it. What's the highest someone can get? Izuku-kun. Izuku looks up quickly. Hi. Takayama looks at him before looking to give Mom a look of amusement. You haven't changed, have you? She stands up and brings her cup over to the sink. I should probably head home, make sure Katsukin doesn't blow anything up. Auntie would hate that. Mom waves the other woman away from the sink. Don't bother with that, I can do it later. Are you sure you don't want to stay for lunch? I appreciate it, Auntie, but I promised I'd take Katsukin out. Sorry. Mom laughs, before walking Takayama to the door. No, don't worry about it. We have to grab lunch next time you're around, though. Takayama smiles. For sure. Once she puts her sneakers and coat on, she opens the door. It was nice seeing you, Auntie. And Izuku. Takayama meets his gaze. If I could get into Yui, then you most definitely will, too. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I hope so. Someone nearly spills their coffee on Izuku while he's on the train. Actually, they would have, if his reflexes didn't allow him to catch it before it fell. Thank F for that, at least. Here you go. Izuku says with a tight smile as he hands it back to the owner, a purple-haired boy who is clearly an insomniac. DMN, where does he get his eye bags from? Gucci. PHTTT kid. The boy blinks at him for a moment before his eyes widen and he grabs his coffee back. Sorry. Izuku nods. Clearly the other boy is still half asleep. No problem. The rest of the train ride is spent with Izuku pressed against people he didn't know and across from Gucci eye bags, as Izuku dubbed him. Every once in a while, a chiming sound effect rang from the other boy's cat-themed phone and he would crack a little smile. Izuku looks away and down to his own phone, where he has messages from people wishing him luck. It's a short list, just Mom, a few people from school, and Takayama. How did she get my number? Izuku clicks on the most recent notification and he bites his lip when he realizes who it's from. Bakugu watch me beat you, loser. Izuku waits a second before his eyes light up and he responds. Midoriya, you are just gonna have to learn to be in second place for once. Izuku types out before turning it off, anticipating the reply. Oh, nice Oni, kid. He smiles at Nisan's words, but still worries his lip. Did I go too far? Oh, God, he's gonna kill me. 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. Here lies Midoriya Izuku. Cause of D, Izuku's phone buzzes and he unlocks it. 𝗵𝘃𝗀, you're the one who's gonna have to learn. I don't think you've ever been in second place. Izuku lets out a huff of laughter as he realizes the meaning behind the harsh words and he replies. Midoriya, was that encouragement? 𝗵𝘃𝗀, is that really you? 𝗵𝘃𝗀, F off, dipshit. That wasn't some shitty encouragement. I hope you die. Midoriya, oh thank God you are back to normal anyways, do you are best 𝗵𝘃𝗀, I am the goddamn best. Izuku's relationship with 𝗵𝘃𝗀 had faded over the past few months. The other teen no longer went out of his way to pick on him, but that didn't stop him from scoffing at him in the hallways or laughing at him from across the lunchroom. They always ran past each other when they're running in the morning, and Izuku sometimes thinks he sees 𝗵𝘃𝗀 standing on the walkways next to the beach, watching him, but when Izuku looks up, he's gone. Izuku knows 𝗵𝘃𝗀 is working strong, too. In fact, despite their entire class saying they want to go to hero schools, 𝗵𝘃𝗀 and Izuku were the only ones who seemed to be working for it. They're not perfect, and Izuku hasn't forgiven him for anything he did, but he also doesn't feel the need to run away out of fear every time he sees 𝗵𝘃𝗀. Maybe it's because of Haru. That actually would make sense, seeing as she's the holder of strength, and now I guess I sort of am too. Courage. Who's she? Never met her before, lol. Yui Station, Muzutafu, the automated voice reads out, bland and flat. Izuku tucks his phone away and attempts to push through the crowded train to the door, but he's at a disadvantage with his height. Growing slightly frustrated, he shoves some people out of his way, ignoring their startled yelps and calling back a quick sorry when he finally steps onto the platform. From there, it's an easy walk to the school. Having studied the route so many times, Izuku knows it like the back of his hand. There are many other students as well, all in different uniforms, and many Izuku recognizes as famous private schools. He looks down at his own plain black one and ratty red Nikes. Well, I'll be sure to prove to them that someone like me can get in, too. I like your attitude, Izuku. Hell yeah. Let's get this bread. Izuku laughs. Do you even know what that means? Well, I heard a girl say it a few years back when she was on the beach. That 𝐀𝐦, right? Haru shoots back a snide response, and before he knows it, he's standing in front of the large, intimidating gates of Yui High School. Students are filling in, not really giving Izuku the chance to admire the school's entrance. It's now or never, right? Izuku thinks, stepping underneath the heavy metal and to the other side. The campus is quite appealing, aesthetic-wise, but that's expected. Give, oh SHT, I'm falling, why am I falling, SHT DMN mother F on a stick, and Izuku stops falling midair. Like, actually. He's hovering a few inches off the paved stone, preventing him from violently faceplanting. God. Is that you? Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry for using my quirk on you without your permission, but I didn't think you'd mind. A girl's voice floats above Izuku's head, and from where he's floating, he sees a pair of white sneakers with light pink ribbon laces. It's actually quite cute. I'm going to release my quirk now, okay? You're going to fall. Izuku prepares himself. Okay. He does fall, and once Izuku's back on his feet, he's faced with a cute girl with brown hair and eyes. Thank you, I'm sorry about that. No problem. The girl replies and grins. I have to go now. He waves and returns. Yeah, me too. Good luck. You too. They part ways, and it wasn't until it was a good few minutes later did Izuku stop and slap the side of his head. I didn't get her name. Oh, kid. 𝐷𝐬𝐻 𝐍𝐴. Yeah, but, like, he trails off. Why would you have needed it, anyways? He shakes his head and continues walking. Oh, I don't know. Hey, kid. Yeah. Where are we going? Hey, Haru. Yes. Where are we going? Izuku, despite how smart you are also quite forgetful sometimes. Well, yeah, but I just forgot, honestly I don't know. I thought you would know, seeing, and you're all no, oh. A light bulb goes off above Izuku's head. I know where we're going. I have to get checked in because you guys count as a familial counterpart. He heads towards a shaded courtyard where a small group of people are milling around in vague lines, so Izuku stands behind a kid who has a bird head. Like, the head of a bird. But on his head. It's interesting, sure, but Izuku pays him no mind, scrolling through news articles on his phone until the line shortens and he's at the front. A small lady with green hair, much lighter than his own, smiles up at him. Hello, what's your name? Midoriya Izuku. The woman scans the paper she has in front of her before she checks of a name in the bottom half. Here you are. Now, did you bring your papers? Izuku nods and twists his backpack to the front of him, unzipping it and pulling out a file full of slips. Everything's in here. He watches as she flips through the file and puts it away in an organizer next to her. Okay, great. You have everything. Can you please sign this? She slides him a piece of paper and he looks over it. It asked if he knew the consequences of using a familiar type emitter and asked for his signature, which he signs in a flurry of kanji. Once he hands the paper back to the women, she releases him and tells him to head to a certain classroom which he finds with relative ease, locating the multiple direction signs on the twisting walls. It was explained to him a few days ago by a letter sent by Yui that anyone with a familiar type emitter quirk was to take the practical exam in another room together, separate from others so they wouldn't cheat. While it was kind of insulting to Izuku, he had to admit they were right. Taking the exam in a controlled environment was the best option to filter out students who didn't deserve to go to Yui. Izuku pushes open the door to find a few other teens already in the room, including Birdhead. He scans the room before his eyes land on a black mass of hair sitting at the teacher's desk. Do I talk to him? He looks like a teacher, so maybe. You two are helpless. Izuku, talk to him. Izuku walks into the room and straight to the teacher's desk, fiddling with his fingers a bit. Good morning, my name is Midoriya Izuku. He says quietly. The hair looks up from his tangle of gray scarves, revealing tired eyes and an unshaved face. Good for you. The man brushes away some hair as he glances down at the seating chart. You're sitting in beat 3. Izuku nods and heads to his seat. The kids who were here all look different. Like, one has a cat sitting on his shoulder and another has tiny stick figures climbing all over her. Izuku checks the small indications on the side of the tables before finding his seat, which just so happens to be next to Cat Dude. There are instructions written on the board in sharp kanji and Izuku scans over them quickly. Rules: don't talk to me. Don't talk to each other. Bags are to be placed under desks. Electronics will be collected at the start of the test. Cheating will result in you being taken out. Well, looks like I already broke the first rule. Izuku can feel Nissan snickering at the back of his head. What does it mean to be taken out of the test, or will they straight up kill you? I do not think they can legally do that, Nami. It would be against the school's rules. She's got a point, Nissan. The teacher guy doesn't look like he'd hesitate to kill you. Oh, Nami, hush. Izuku is grinning slightly and he feels the left side of him burn with the pinprick of eyes, causing his face to fall a bit. When he looks, he sees the cat sitting on the desk staring at him, glowing yellow eyes locking into his. It must be an exotic breed, because Izuku has never seen one like it before. The other boy was looking straight ahead, a small smirk playing at his lips. His skin was a strange lavender and long, white hair fell down his back, tucked behind a slightly pointed ear. The cat its head when Izuku stares a moment too long and he looks away, ears burning. Oh, you got caught. Nissan whispers. It's okay. An accented voice says softly and Izuku looks back to the boy and his cat. He's still looking forward, but the words were directed to him. I know we're a sight. Izuku waves his hands frantically. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stared. This time, the boy turns his body to face Izuku, eyes seemingly unseeing. With his face so close to his cat's, Izuku can only see their matching yellow eyes. It hits Izuku then, that his cat must be a part of his quirk. She is. The boy says, and Izuku blanches when he realizes he spoke out loud. Her name's 𝐻𝐻𝐬. She's my eyes. The boy says with a small smile. Oh, 𝐻𝐡, that makes sense. Wow, I just stared at a blind kid for like, a hot minute. 𝐻𝐡, she's appealing. Izuku slips out, because it's true. And 𝐻𝐻𝐬 is, with long navy ears and black fur with gray paws and stripes, and a particular lock of orange fur on her head, with a matching tail. Thank you. The boy keeps his unseeing eyes trained on Izuku while 𝐻𝐻𝐬 turns to look towards the door as another person walks in. They had fish swimming around their head and Izuku could feel Nisan's light interest in them. The boy sticks his hand out. I'm Yukashori Roto. Midoriya. Izuku. He replies with an easy smile, shaking his hand. The slamming of the door makes both boys look to the front of the room, where the long-haired teacher walks back to his desk. He takes a long, tired sigh before speaking. My name is Aizawa and I will be your proctor today. You are all here today because your quirk allows you to summon sentient companions. I am also aware that some of you can communicate with them even when they are not present. Aizawa scans the room and Izuku looks away from his harsh glare. All of you are here for two reasons. Some of you are here because you want to continue your education at the most prejudiced school in most of the world, either to become a hero or whatever, I don't care. But, some of you are here to cheat the system with your quirk, to get in using the easy way. It pains me to say that despite all the quirks and technology available to you, we cannot tell if you are mentally using your quirk to cheat. The smart ones of you will pass this test. The crafty ones will, too. And the ones who fall behind will get left behind, never to walk past UA's gates ever again. For those of you who cheat, you know what you are doing. Yui's motto is plus ultra means further beyond. What is beyond this test? He doesn't wait for an answer before continuing in his dry tone. Beyond this test is your future. You may have a vantage point here in this test, but later on, there will be many more. Tests that you won't be able to cheat your way out of. Tests meant to filter you out until only the most determined and truthful remain. However, if I do catch you, the consequences will be harsh and unforgiving. Do you understand? This time, Aizawa waits until every head in the room nods. Good. If you want to leave, leave now. Izuku holds his breath as the room is suspended in a tense heat, slowly looking around the room and locking eyes with 𝐻𝐻𝐬. Clearly, Yukashori was seeing if anyone was going to move, too. Aizawa hides his face in his scarf as he turns around, grabbing a pouch sitting on his desk before walking down the aisles. Phones. When he reaches to Izuku, he drops his phone in, trying to ignore the way the man's eyes follow his All Might case as it falls. When he collected them all, he moves back to his desk to pick up a large stack of test packets, once again walking through the aisles to distribute them. I want to see all your quirks put away. There should be no talking. All directions are on the test. Raise your hand if you have a question. The packet lands heavy on his desk, clearly over 10 pages long. Aizawa finishes and stands at the front of the room and he looks at them with tired, but sharp eyes. The test starts now. You have 2 hours. Do your best. Plus ultra. Oh, sorry, dude. Another kid knocks his arm into his side, almost pushing them both over. Izuku just smiles at him and straightens him out. No problem. It's really cramped in here, don't you think? The other teen grins back, a mouth full of sharp teeth and red hair to match. Yeah, but it's fine. It's like a locker room. Just with way more people than usual. They were in a large tent, all the applicants sorted by gender and sent off to go change into the clothes they wanted to fight in. And Izuku is right. The tent is large-sized, but there was about 40 other boys in here. He desperately tries to keep his eyes trained on the other faces of the other teens, but what could he do? They are all very nicely built. Besides that one pipsqueak who's like 2 feet tall. 𝐁𝐸 snickers at him. Is there a problem, kid? The tips of his ears burn. No, not at all. 𝐴𝐻𝐸𝐬. Did you say something? The guy next to him asked, and Izuku looks over right as the redhead takes his shirt off, revealing muscles that could go on forever. And nope. Izuku squeaks out, and his face is probably the same shade of bright red as the other kid's hair. Izuku quickly looks away before he can embarrass himself anymore and changes into the light blue tracksuit he brought along, shoving his old school uniform into his backpack. Horu. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, it is nothing. Yeah, 𝐷𝗛𝐻𝐸. It's nothing. He swings his bag onto his shoulder and makes his way out of the tent, almost tripping on the small kid from before. His quirk was a physical one that created purple, ball on his head until he resembled a grape. Izuku can't help but grin a little as he remembers how the other teen got chewed out by a tall kid with glasses at the auditorium earlier. Apparently the small boy was bothering the girls sitting around him, creating such a ruckus that Glasses and Present Mike himself called him out for it. And Present Mike. He's so much louder in person and Izuku has so many questions to ask him. Actually, he just really wanted to know how his hair didn't interfere with hero work. Anyways. The large entrance to the city. Izuku cranes his neck up to see the tops of the walls themselves towed over by the skyscrapers inside the fake city itself. Yui truly pulls all the stops out. Hell yeah they do. Okay, we need a plan of action. Izuku puts his bag in the designated area and walks back to the entrance of the large city where other kids are stretching. He sits down to follow suit. So what do we know? There will be multiple villains, with their ranking scores from 1 point to 3. There is also an unknown villain worth 0 points. Izuku bends himself, folding his hands around the sole of his foot, letting his flexibility stretch his body out. What do you think about the last villain? We can't underestimate you, eh? This SCOLS exam is meant to weed outpople who aren't WhatIf to become a hero, right? So the 0-pointer may be the final boss fight. He pauses in his stretching. Horu, was that a video game reference? No. It totally was. Izuku, what's the plan? Horu changes the subject quickly. Izuku thinks back to the note he created on his quirk. Horu, your engaged form can last for 2 hours, top. 𝐁𝐸, yours is about the same. However, it's shorter if you two take hit damage. He stands up and stretches out his arms, gazing upwards at the buildings. So far, a mile seems to be the max distance you can move away from me. I think would be possible to take out multiple at once by sending you, 𝐁𝐸, out to destroy some yourself, seeing as you can somewhat control the direction I send you when you're engaged. Sounds like a plan. Izuku grins and continues. Horu, you and I can go in, guns a-blazing. What's the max height we can jump when you're engaged? Horu hums before responding. About 8 feet. I think I know where this is going. Well, I'm not sure yet, but it's good to note, just in case we need to know for later. His arms are next, twisting them around each other, when he spots the girl from earlier. Yo, you gonna say so meeting to her? Izuku thinks about it for a moment before he shakes his head. No, I don't want to bother her. If you are sure. Anyways, he's cut off by a loud microphone feedback above them that had their ears ringing. The gates to the fake city began to move and before they're even fully open, Present Mic's loud voice rings out. Ready. Go. And with that, there we're off. Glasses from earlier shoots into the city, leaving them in the dust, followed by Bikugu. Izuku grits his teeth, feeling 𝐁𝐸 and Horu tremble with excitement under his skin. He hears Present Mic's distant call of +ultra. Before he's encountered by the first robot, a 1-pointer. Instead of stopping to fight it, though, Izuku races around it to find others. Yo, kid, show old we have 𝐡𝐢𝐬. That's what everyone else is doing, Izuku breathes out, thankful for all the miles Horu made him run. That's why we're not going to stop. Up ahead on a mostly empty street, he sees a large two-pointer. Ready to start that plan? Hell yeah. Time to fight. Are you ready? Izuku can feel their power almost burn in him and he grins, wild and wicked. He races towards the robot, not even caring he's not engaged yet. He whispers the words under his breath. I call upon you, 𝐬𝐻𝐻 𝐬𝐻𝐻. Horror melts over him just in time to give him the extra boost he needs when he jumps, already twisting to accommodate Nissan when he forms and he throws, swift and clean, the hit landing directly on the robot, causing it to fall over. Izuku lands on its head, not even stopping as he pulls Nissan out and jumping off and rolling on the concrete. He stumbles for a moment before turning and drawing his arm back again. Are you ready, Nissan? As ready as I'll ever be. 𝗣𝗲𝗍 cries out. Izuku feels horror buzz around him. I'm ready, Izuku. With the combined strength from all of his training and horror's boost, Izuku throws Nissan and he flies true, cutting through a three-pointer like it's nothing and doesn't even stop, zipping through robots before disappearing out of sight. And with that, Izuku races off again, turning down another street to see a two-pointer facing a kid who's just standing there. The robot rears its foot up, about to bring it down and Izuku can see the kid tense up. Oh, 𝐴𝐻𝐻. He feels horror tighter around him, preparing herself. We can do this. Izuku dashes towards to robot, pushing the other kid out of the way and landing a solid punch on the robot's middle, causing it to fly back and crash onto the street. He turns to see the kid start to stand up, wincing. Izuku heads over, arm out to help them out, but they ignore it. Are you okay? The kid looks at him and Izuku immediately recognizes him, taking in the messy purple hair and tired eyes. You're the one who almost spilled coffee on me this morning. 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐈𝐻𝐸 gives him a once-over, eyeing Horror and Izuku looks away and shifts. And you're the one actually talking to me. The guy drawls out. Izuku looks back at him. Is that a problem? The tall boy looks like he wants to say something but doesn't. Izuku speaks first. Why didn't you stop the robot? He asks, and almost regrets it when 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐈𝐻𝐸 nearly glares at. DMN, Horror's confidence building is one hell of a drag. The other boy rubs at the back of his neck. I don't, he trails off before speaking again. I don't have a physical fighting quirk. That like you, is left unsaid. Oh. Izuku falls silent for a moment before opening his mouth. The robots probably have a off button, you know. What? Think about it, Izuku says, you may be rich, but they most likely don't go buying robots just for them to be destroyed. He gestures to the follow robot, letting 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐈𝐻𝐸 take note of the patchwork of metal. That was probably built by the support department, which means it's required to have an off button. Walking over to it with 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐈𝐻𝐸, Izuku looks at the robot before spotting a black panel on the back of its leg, and it reveals a button when he opens it. Found it. I guess you're right. The other teen says, looking thoughtful. Izuku's about to say something else before Present Mike calls out again. 15 minutes left. 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐸. Izuku curses. He looks at 𝐻𝐻𝐸 𝐈𝐻𝐸 one more time. I should go. Good luck. He doesn't reply, but Izuku does catch a half smile as he turns. That was nice of you. Horror mentions to him. Everyone deserves a fair chance. Dash. 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 In a room of Yui, all the teachers and judges, sans Present Mike, watches carefully at the monitors, looking for ones who stand out. Namuri Kayama taps her red lacquered nails on the table thoughtfully. That little blue boy sure is something, huh? 13 nods their head from next to her, a movement she almost misses in the darkness, the only light coming from the screens of the many TVs and their tablets. The boy has two parts to his quirk, and he clearly has control of them, seeing as one half is still destroying robots without his presence. 13 points a gloved finger towards one screen and Namuri just catches a glimpse of a glowing blue trident flying through another robot, leaving a boy with an explosion quirk yelling angrily. I don't think he has any control of his quirk. Shota speaks up from next to her. Nemuri opens her mouth, but Snipe cuts her off first. What do you mean? That precision is nothing less than amazing. Shota sinks a little bit further into his scarf as he sits up to swipe through his tablet. He was in my exam group. It clicks in Nemuri's head. He has a familiar quirk. Her comment earns her a nod from Shota. Found him. His name is Midoriya Izuku and his quirk is listed as Fey Attraction. It, and I quote, allows Midoriya to form bonds with a species listed as the Fey and they enter a mutually beneficial relationship. The hell does that mean? Ah, I remember the Fey. Nizu says from somewhere in the room. Nemuri notices it's gotten silent, everyone listening to Shota's words. They certainly are something. The principal's words were, like most of his words, very cryptic. Well, Cementos grunts, even if it's not fully him, there's still a lot of talent in there. Vlad King nods in agreement. And did you see him help that other kid? That's not even required. Nemuri grins. Isn't that the point though? To help the ones that need help. Hell, I helped Tensei during the exam. He broke a leg and an arm. All you did was knock him out. Shota says dryly. She waves a hand at him. That's unimportant. I knocked him out so he couldn't feel the pain of it. Did you have to rip off your shirt to do it? She scoffs, pulling her glasses off with a flurry of over-exaggerated movement, and looks at him. Are you implying something, Shota? His dark eyes glint dangerously to her, but she grins right back, tongue over her red lips. Nizu leaps out of Shota's scarves, causing both of them to roll back in their chairs. Children. Stop fighting. Please stop hiding in my capture weapon. Shota grits out. Nizu nods in agreement, even though he will most certainly do it again. From the corner of her eye, Nemuri sees 13 snickering into a glove. The kids this year really are intense, though. Electroplasm whispers to Hound Dog, but in the near silence of the room, it carries to Nemuri's ears. Look at that kid with the explosion quirk. And that kid, Bakugo Katsuki, she hears Hound Dog says, really is impressive. His powerful explosions blast away the robots, even blasting him to the point where he's almost flying. She watches him on the big screen, eyes furrowing as he turns to yell at a girl with long, dark hair tied in a bow near her waist. Nemuri frowns as she links her tablet and comm up to that camera and turns the volume up from her tablet. It statics for a moment before she's fed through. Extra. I didn't need your help. Stay the hell out of my way. The Bakugo kid storms off down the street, leaving the girl behind. Nemuri unlinks her comm and mentions this to the other staff members. While he's impressive, his teamwork could use a lot of help. This rises a whole new wave of discussion between the teachers, but Nemuri ignores it in favor of watching the students fight. There were about 200 of them, and she bites her lip because only 36 will make it through to the hero course. They were split into TWP groups of roughly 100, and sent to 2 different cities. The top 18 of each group will pass. The rest will fail. Since she's been watching only city number 1, Nemuri her cameras over to city number 2, taking notes on students and quirks that stand out to her. And some of these quirks were pretty strong, too. One girl clearly had the ability to grow her hands, which she used in her favor to grab robots and smash them. A camera to the west showed a girl unleashing a directed wave of mushrooms that slowed the robots down, while another camera picked up a boy hidden in the dark shadows of an alleyway, and any passing robots would meet their end by a quick strike of black. Nemuri is watching a kid turn air into a solid when her phone buzzes on the table. She picks it up and grins when she sees the text, but it falls when she reads the message. Why did no one tell me Tensei's baby brother was here? She cries out to one of her best friends, not loudly, but not a whisper either. He told us last week. Shota says. She shoots him a look. No, he didn't. I don't remember it. Shota looks at her, eyebrows furrowed, before slightly grinning. Oh, it was when Hisashi blocked you from the group chat for a day. Nemuri grumbles, but turns back to her phone. HILF apparently you only told Hisashi and Shota it was when I was blocked you still could have told me Sonic the Hedgehog and you could have scrolled up and read what was sent when you were blocked Banana Beach Boy anyways your brother is doing fine he reminds me you when we were his age but he's definitely a lot cuter than you were stinky BSTRD man shouldn't you be watching the kids? Stop texting. HILF you are too, though. I'm sitting right next to you, Nemuri. Yeah, but I'm including them in our conversation. Banana Beach Boy hell yeah she's got a point Sonic the Hedgehog wow okay first off don't be FKN rude you are in for a real treat if you are student HILF TF does that mean? Sonic the Hedgehog, winky face, teachers either love or hate him he means well but he's gone PSS the hell out of show you to Banana Beach Boy shit is always off he was just born like that HILF is he off during section. Nemuri hears Shota choke on his spit from next to her and she receives a harsh punch in retaliation. As Shota texts back, she checks the cameras for city number 1 again. Nothing really noteworthy. On one street, the blue boy from before is just punching the robots with surprisingly clean results while another student further down is shooting them with some sort of laser. Nemuri spots Tensei's brother kicking the robots in their legs, rendering them immobile before speeding away. Another robot just stops moving and she zooms in with her tablet because while the robot's off-button panel was open, she didn't see anyone near the thing. Stinky BSTRD man blocked. I hate this F family. HLF Hisashi your husband just punched me Sonic the Hedgehog wow you are snitching that's low stinky BSTRD man I'm leaving. Sonic the Hedgehog no you can't you got matching tats with us you are stuck with us forever HLF happy face carrot not to mention leaving us means you leave Hisashi stinky BSTRD man SHT you're right. F. Banana Beach Boy less than 333,333 Nizu's excited cheer causes Nemuri and Shota's heads to snap up. I'm letting the 0 pointers go. This early? Vlad King asks. There's still a good 5 minutes left. You usually do it in the last 2 minutes or so. Nizu shrugs from the front of the room. When did he get there? Let's spice things up. The principal presses his paw onto his tablet. From her own, Nemuri watches the 0 pointers smash its way into the both cities from the ground. Things were about to get interesting. So, Izuku didn't expect to be scared shitless, but here he is. Honestly, though, it's expected because the 0 pointer just clawed its way out of the ground in a way that reminded Izuku of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝐽's video that he was shown 11 years ago and he's never forgotten. It was a mix-up of DVDs, apparently. Why was 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝐽's video mixed in with children's cartoons, he'll never know. The 0 pointer looks down them with its multiple glowing eyes and everyone collectively holds their breaths. And then it starts moving and it's like all hell broke loose. Everyone is suddenly running past Izuku, screaming and yelling, and Izuku has half a mind to join them but then Horu is holding him back, a vice grip that locks his legs in place. Izuku, wait. Listen. Block everything out and listen. Izuku grits his teeth because he's never one to not listen to Horu's advice. And he curses because he can hear it. Out there, somewhere, a voice is calling for help. It's faint, but Izuku swears it there, a soft voice crying out, begging for someone to stop. That's what pushes him to move, the crowd parting because no one wants to get in the way of the idiot running towards his death. And finally, there. Izuku's heart drops to his stouch, though, as he recognizes the soft, pretty face under the heap of brown hair. 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝐻. He screams, because she's stuck under a pile of rubble and the robot is moving and if it doesn't stop, she's going to get crushed, and kid. Hey, kid. Izuku. Both Horu and Nissan are trying to get him to focus and their presence snaps him back. Izuku grits his teeth, fist clenching around Nissan who returned a few minutes earlier. I need a way to stop the robot and help that girl. He's looking around for a way to do both when he sees the solution as clear as day. Hey! You! Izuku runs up to Gucci eyebags, the only other kid to not have run. Getting close, Izuku can see why. The tall teen was absolutely petrified and frozen. Hey! He tries again and this time, the teen looks at him. He blinks, startled. What? Izuku shakes his head. No time to talk. I need your help. There's a girl trapped under the rubble there. He points where she is before turning back. I need you to get her out because I also need to stop this robot from stepping on her and I can't do both. The boy stammers. But, there's plenty of hey. You want to be a hero, right? Izuku nearly shouts at him, but he's panicking because they're running out of time. Someone once told me that being a hero is about doing what other people wouldn't do. Right now, you need to go help her, not only because you're the only one, but because you can help her and that's all that matters right now. Do you understand? This time, although he's clearly a bit scared, 𝐻𝐸 straightens up and narrows his eyes in determination. I got it. What's the call? He carefully phrases, not as a question but that doesn't matter as purple eyes meeting green. Izuku steals his grin. The call's now. You got this. He doesn't expect a crooked grin in return, but that's what he gets. I got it if you got it. Let's do this. The purple-haired boy runs off towards the girl and Izuku immediately looks up. We have about a minute, tops, before she's crushed. He spots his path and he's so thankful that cities are required to have fire escapes. Horu. He feels her flicker in determination. I know. We can do this. Izuku prepares himself for a running start. Namihashu, release. The Fae disappears, showing back on his skin. He's tired, all three of them are, but he needs to do this. Let's go. Then, he's off, jumping from railing to railing. It burns his legs, sure, but Horu's and Nisan's encouragement is all he needs to keep going. So Izuku continues, climbing higher and higher until he's at the top of the apartment complex. He can't even see 𝐻𝐸 or the girl from this height and he clenches his fist. The robot is still taller than the building and Izuku's at the perfect height to meet all of its red eyes. We have to do this quickly. Agreed. Horu, I need a large jump, support for the aftershock of the hit, and someone to catch me when I fall. Nisan, I need the biggest hit you got. I can do that. It's going to be the biggest hit you've ever seen. Good, because we need to blast this thing back. Izuku crouches down and then he flies, high up in the air. He could feel Horu bracing his lower body when he jumps and now she flows all across him, gold gauntlets glinting in the sun. I call upon you, Namihashu. Izuku screams and suddenly, Nisan is there and Izuku has to throw before he starts falling, and he prepares himself and he throws with all his might. He can hear Nisan laughing with glee as he shoots down, a dangerous streak in the sky. Nisan strikes true on the robot's head, the force sending it careening backwards. Unfortunately, because it was strong enough to knock over a full F robot, it also only allows Izuku a moment to be suspended peacefully in the air before he, too, is knocked backwards in the shock wave. He's glad Horu is there because he's sure he would have been ripped apart. Soon, though, he's falling and falling and falling. Everything in his body is screaming at him to not release Horu, but she also needs to catch him or else he's going to permanently stain Yui's campus forever. Not dying eventually wins him over in the end. Horu de Shirioku. Release. Just like that, Horu is gone, leaving Izuku screaming and vulnerable as he plummets towards the ground, screaming. Is this what my life has become? Goddamn SHTF Horu, the concrete is coming up at a very alarming rate and Izuku squeezes his eyes shut. Suddenly, he's caught and the breath is knocked out of him. Izuku opens his eyes, strong, and finds himself safely in Horu's arms, her large wings beating furiously as she flies them both down to solid ground. Her gold hair rests across him as Horu's grip tightens on him and Izuku never wants to leave. Thank you so much, Horu. There is no need to ever thank me, Izuku. She looks at him, her 4 eyes narrowed in concern. Something is wrong. Your arm. What? Izuku draws out, suddenly growing increasingly tired. The adrenaline must be wearing off. There's nothing wrong with me. But as Horu lands, his arm is jostled and yeah, okay, Something's wrong. A voice comes tut-tooting towards them and Haru sets Izuku down. That was very stupid, young man. The voice says and he looks down, immediately recognizing who it is. His eyes widen as his breath catches because right in front of him is, Recovery Girl. It's an honor and dash, Izuku starts, but the woman simply holds her hand up cutting him off. She doesn't even seem fazed by Haru's presence. Hush. Your shoulder's dislocated. I can set it. That's probably a good idea. What? Is all Izuku can get out before Haru grabs his arm and suddenly it feels like someone set it on fire. There's a large clicking sound and it's over. If anyone asks, he didn't scream. I'm going to heal you, but I wouldn't recommend using that arm for a few days. She gives him a long embrace on the cheek and exhaustion hits him like a truck. It hits the Fae too, apparently, because Haru disappears in a flash of gold back onto his chest where Nissan was resting as well. Izuku is, not very stable because as soon as she's gone, he almost collapses, if not for the arms that catch him. Oh, gosh, are you okay? Izuku finally registers the voice as the nice girl, whom he sees once he looks up. I should be asking you that. Did Gucci eye bags help you? She looks at him with a tilt of her head, confusion clear on her face, but before she can ask, there's a snort very close to Izuku's head. I think he means me. Izuku, had he felt better, would have immediately jumped out of the other boy's hold, but for now he was very content with not falling. Again. My name's Shinzo Hitoshi. The voice drawls out and his grip of Izuku shifts, pulling Izuku's uninjured arm over his neck, letting Izuku somewhat stand by his side. And I'm Uraraka Ochako. Thanks for helping me earlier. But it was Shinzo who helped you. Izuku slurs out. Uraraka pouts, her hair poofing out as the three of them start to make their way towards the entrance. It was a group effort. Izuku nods, before he realizes he never told them his name. I'm Midoriya Izuku, by the way. I saw you using your quirk earlier, on me and the robots. He adds. What is it? The girl smiles. My quirk is zero gravity. I can cancel out, well, gravity. Izuku's eyes widen. That's so cool. And what about you, Shinosu? He asks, looking up at the boy holding him up. Shinzo starts, his grip on Izuku tightening a little bit. My quirk, it's not a flashy one like you two's. Frowning, Izuku his head, seeing Uraraka do the same. I'm sure it's still a useful one, though. Shinzo gives a dry laugh. Sure, if you think brainwashing is a useful quirk. Izuku's sure he died and gone to heaven, because brainwashing is such a useful quirk. Don't say it not. Like, you can use it to get information, or to talk someone out of a dangerous situation. You'd be incredible as a hostage negotiator. Midoriya's right. Uraraka comments happily. Sure, it's not flashy, but sometimes it's good to be not flashy. Shinzo looks at the two of them, incredulously. Are you guys serious? His tone is flat, but there's a hint of something else there. No, I'm Midoriya and she's Uraraka. Izuku giggles out, only for Uraraka to catch his giggles, too. The taller teen rolls his eyes. I can't believe you two. God, I'm leaving. He says, making no move to leave. No. Uraraka whines, her wide smile still plastered on her face. You can't just unfriend us like that. Shinzo pauses in his step, causing Izuku to look up at him. We're friends. He phrases it as a statement, not question. Izuku notes that away in his mind. He never says anything as a question. Why is that? Well, of course. Uraraka nods vigorously and Izuku is drawn back to the present. You saved me from getting crushed by a giant robot. You too, Midoriya. I think that makes us friends. Izuku snorts out a laugh that makes his head hurt. I don't think that's how it works. Uraraka places her hands over his mouth. Tsh. 𝐬𝐡𝐚𝐭 hums out his laughter as he realizes he's swaying slightly with every step he takes. Hey, guys. Yeah. I think I'm gonna pass out. Wait, 𝐻𝐡 Midoriya, you can't just paw dash, dash. 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 𝐬𝐡𝐚𝐭 wakes up in the medic tent, a piece of paper with 2 numbers on it in his hand. There were 2 notes scribbled out as well. I had to go, but here's my number. Text me sometimes. We should grab coffee with Shinzo. Get better soon. 𝐸 𝐸 smiley face, yeah, coffee sounds good. 𝗀𝐸 𝐻𝐴𝐧𝐝 grins as he reads them, his expression slightly falling as the tent opening is pushes aside to reveal Recovery Girl. She bustles over when she sees him awake, busying herself with checking his vitals. So, what happened? He asks her and he shrinks in the glare he receives. You passed out due to quirk exhaustion. I read your file. Young man. You're essentially 3 people in one body, with 2 of the 3 supernatural beings. She sighs and continues. While you clearly are taking care of yourself, those stunts you pulled today certainly were a lot. And now I'm here. 𝐬𝐡𝐚 groans. His shoulder and arm throbs as he sinks back into the pillows. I should stop ending up in some medical establishment every time I do something. Recovery Girl nods. And now you're here. But if you're feeling better, you're free to leave. Someone's driving you home, though. Who? 𝐬𝐡𝐚 wonders and immediately regrets it when the opening is thrown aside yet again to reveal present mic. That would be me, young listener. Recovery Girl immediately smacks him with her cane, the crack of it leaving 𝐬𝐡𝐚 wincing, regretting it a moment later because his face feels tender and bruised for some reason. Oh, I'm sorry. Present mic says, much softer this time. I'll be driving you home, young listener. We don't feel safe letting you go home on the subway after today. We called your mother but she said she didn't have a car, so that's where I come in. He hold up 𝐬𝐡𝐚's bag in one hand. I'm ready to go when you are. Honestly, if 𝐬𝐡𝐚 was feeling a bit less tired, he would have been ecstatic, and while he certainly is, he left all the fanboying to the side and instead asked the question he's been wondering. If you don't benefit from your hair being styled like that, why do it? Dash. 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 That night, he texts 𝐸 and Shinzo, placing both of them in a group chat together. Midoriya, hey, it's Midoriya. How are you guys? He gets a response almost immediately. 𝐸 𝐸, I'm still tired but I'm planning on sleeping in, so I'll be fine. WBU. 𝐸 𝐸 changed 𝐸 𝐸's name to ********* changed Shinzo Hitoshi's name to 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬 Midoriya 𝐬𝐡𝐚 same for me. Present mic drove me home. He likes American pop. 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬. Oh dear God, I'm sorry. I would also like to say ******** Shinzo no 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬 for the record. Midoriya 𝐬𝐡𝐚. 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬, the bruise on your face is 𝐸𝐚's fault. She was using her quirk on you. BC, you are real heavy. And then she sneezed ******, please no 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬, and then she dropped you. It was bad. I thought your nose was broken. Midoriya 𝐬𝐚 𝐓𝐡𝐢 𝐵𝑒𝑚 *****, I am really sorry. Midoriya 𝐬𝐚 no LMAO, it's fine. I was a bit confused though. Oh whale. Midoriya 𝐬𝐚 changed Midoriya 𝐬𝐚's name to Midority. 𝐬𝐡𝐤 𝐈𝐬 Midoriya no *****, Midoriya no Midority. Midoriya yes, holy ****. Is the only thing Shota can say as he watches the kid fall to the ground. Here's the thing. Shota has been a teacher for the past 7 years. That means 7 years of watching students go and do stupid ****, and not just in the entrance exams. In class, too. Every day. Actually, no, he was a student for 3 years as well. Make that 10 years. 10 years of pure motherfucking bullshit. But this kid takes the goddamn cake, because not only did he jump up an entire building, he then took a swan dive off of that to stab a robot. After he went and punched half of them. Shota swears he just felt strands of his hair become white. What the hell was that? Vlad King cries from next to him and Shota closes his eyes because he feels that phrase on a spiritual level. 𝐬𝐸 watches happily from his chair, clapping his hands together. It would seem as though Midoriya has stabbed the 0-pointer with his trident. What a brilliant move. What a stupid move, that's for sure. Nemuri starts clicking her nails on the table, and while it's a bit annoying, the familiarity of it grounds him from this bullshit. While it was risky, he did save the girl from being stomped on. She mumbles. And he has a sentient quirk. Shota opens an eye to find her looking at him, and he sighs, sitting up a bit. Two of them, actually. 2 Fae, to be precise. 𝐬𝐸 comments louder, although he was still watching the live feeds. In fact, there's one right there. At his words, all the teachers strained to see the monitor he was pointing to. There was a glowing humanoid shape carrying Midoriya, and Shota winces in sympathy as he watches it pop the boy's arm back into its socket. So the boy's quirk hurts his own body, huh? That's interesting. What about the other kid, the one that he sent to go help the girl? 13 questions, shaking him out of his thoughts. Will he get rescue points as well? Shota finds himself nodding along with the space hero. Yeah, I feel as though he should receive some, at least. At least he didn't destroy his arm trying to help the girl. Me too. Nemuri pipes up. Slowly, all of the teachers voices their approval of the boy receiving rescue points. 𝐬𝐸 pulled up the test result on half on the monitors, and Snipe whistles lowly. Exactly who is that Midoriya kid? And honestly, that's the only way to put it, because this kid has the best score he's ever seen. Shota even opens it on his tablet, just to make sure he's seeing it correctly. Name/villain points /rescue points /rank Midoriya Izuku /87/60 /𝗪𝗡𝗃𝗀 Katsuki /77/0 2nd Kirishima Aijiro /39/35 3rd Uraraka Ochako /28/45 4th Ida Tenya /59/9 5th. That's got to be the highest score ever. Lunch Rush says from across the table. 𝐬𝐸 laughs gleefully. It is. A 147. Wow. At this point, 𝐬𝐸 is gesturing so wildly, his tea is spilling. The highest before today was a 123. Hound Dog growls lowly, turning to look at the principal. How did he even pull that off? Well, he clearly doesn't need to be present for half of his quirk to be in use, so he used that to destroy robots while he was away punching them as well. 13 points out. Vlad King nods. And he gains 60 resume points for saving the girl, too. What about the other kid? Shota brings them back to the topic at hand. How many point will we give him? The principal smiles. We'll give him 45 rescue points. The small rat dog bear types something into his tablet, and a new score flashes boldly on Shota's own before disappearing into the ranking list. Name/villain points /rescue points /rank Shinzo Hitoshi /9/45/19th SHT. He didn't make the cut. He's gonna get put into Gen Ed. Shota swivels his head around the room, trying to find the person who spoke. There's nothing wrong with Gen Ed. I was in Gen Ed and I made it to the hero course. Nemuri nods in agreement. Yeah, this kid's got passion. He can totally do it. What a shame though, she sighs, he's got what it takes to be a hero, saving that girl like that. He furrowed his eyebrows. If he's number 19 and put in Gen Ed, then he'll make it into the hero course if I expel someone. I thought you said you wouldn't expel anyone this year. Cementos says from where he's sitting, and Shota scowls at him. Yeah, well, people lie, Ishiyama. That is very true, Aizawa, but please try not to expel your whole class this year. 𝐬𝐸 looks at him as sternly as one can while constantly smiling. We do want a 2A class next year, after all. Shota looks away to find Nemuri snickering at him, and he glares right back. Can't we give him more points, just so he can make it into the course? He asks under his breath, but 𝐬𝐸 still notices. Nope. Don't worry about this student. The principal promises. He'll be in the hero course by the end of the year. It's up to you, 𝐬𝐸 locks his glinting eyes with Shota, to prepare him for it. I'm trusting you. How can you be? So sure. Vlad King wondered out loud. The principal is quick to change the subject. Okay, everyone. Let's start filling out these assessment forms. We have 200 students to get through F dash. 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 Beep, 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 beep. 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 BE dash. Hitoshi slams his hand down on his phone and he thanks the gods that there's enough contact for the alarm to turn off. Slowly peeling his eyes open, he can see one of his cats resting next to him and he sighs softly. There's light streaming in through the large windows and thankfully none of it lands on his face. He's lying on the couch and now, as he's waking up, he realizes he must have fallen asleep by accident. Sitting up, Hitoshi reaches for his phone and the Russian blue, Taro, moves from her spot onto his lap. He checks the time and curses. 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝐻. It's already 6. He quickly deposits Taro back onto the couch as he runs to the kitchen where he left his school bag. Hitoshi unzips the bag and grabs his laptop, racing back to the couch where Taro was watching him with large green eyes. As he sits on the edge of the cushions and opens his sticker-messy laptop, another one of his cats, Ice-T, a ragdoll, this one, jumps onto the coffee table with a soft meow. Hitoshi only spares her a glance before he opens his Skype app, his fingers going through the practiced motions of connecting his laptop to the large TV in just a few clicks. A moment later, Hitoshi's TV flickers to life, showing the Skype page and activity which has him cursing again because there's already a call waiting for him, which he logs into immediately. There's a bit of static before Hitoshi is eventually fed through, the image clearing up to reveal 2 cameras, but 3 faces, 1 frowning and 2 smiling. The one with baby blue hair and matching eyes smiles wildly, gesturing to the screen to the dark pink-haired women next to him. See? I told you he was just late. There's no need to worry. Hi, Dad. Hitoshi replies with a soft smile. Hey, Mom, I hope you weren't worried. I just fell asleep by accident. He laughs. It's a good thing I set an alarm. His mom shakes her head lightly, letting her dark pink hair shift to frame her glasses and ever-present eye bags, a result of her quirk. Oh, I wasn't worried. She totally was. Dad chips in, rubbing his stubble. And what? Another voice says, you don't say hi to me, too. I'm hurt, Toshi. The purple-haired teen rolls his eyes. Hi, Papa. He mimics. How was work? And so here's Shinzo Hitoshi's wonderful family. On one screen there's Mom and Dad, Ninoda Tsubi with her quirk 𝐬𝐻𝐻, and Shinzo Diakito with his quirk puppeteer. On the other screen, there's Papa, Aoki Meitoku with his quirk Sweet Talk. Mom and Dad were broadcasting from their lab in Australia where they do quirk research and other government things, whereas Papa is stationed in the United States where he works as a neuroscientist. They call each other every day, with Mom and Dad calling from their lab during their lunch break at 1 p.m. and Papa calling from his at 11. So, yeah, his family's a bit scattered around the world, but that's okay. They make ends meet, and one glance around Hitoshi's state-of-the-art and spacious apartment could tell anyone that work is still going on. Papa tells his, checking his watch. I have a surgery later to remove a brain tumor and that's the only planned thing, but you know. Unplanned things can come up. Oh, babe, you're telling me. Dad pipes up. You two know the testing we've been doing for the past month. When Papa and Hitoshi nod, he continues, waving his hands animatedly while Mom eats her salad beside him. Well, it turns out that they were all corrupt and we didn't catch it until this morning. Mom finishes chewing and sighs. So now apparently we have to find a way to fix the problem, she quotes, said by 𝐴𝐻𝐷 supervisor. As if it's our fault that the tests were corrupt in the first place. Dad picks up for her. Hitoshi shares an exasperated glance with Papa. Mom and Dad's lab stories were nothing new to them. Yeah, but it is your job. Hitoshi points out to his parents. Papa brushes his black bangs out of his face. Toshi's got a point, loves. You've got to do what you've got to do. Hitoshi nods. Yeah, what Papa said. Dad dramatically puts the back of his palm on his forehead, fake crying. Oh, I can't believe you too. Ame-toku, why did I marry you if all you do is cause me pain? 𝗬𝗲 and I proposed you to with instant ramen and you didn't seem pain then. In fact, you seemed quite happy. Papa deadpants. More so over the ramen than us with the ring. Mom starts laughing, which causes Hitoshi to do the same. Yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗀, don't tell us you regret it now. I mean, we have a child now. An actual child, can you believe it? Holy 𝐴𝐻𝑡. What's that supposed to mean? Hitoshi cries, still laughing. Papa chuckles. I think she overused her quirk on herself. Yeah, Mom, did you sleep last night? Mom sobers up a bit. I actually did. She says with a smile, brushing her hair away from her face. What about you? I hope you slept, too, because the exam was today, right? Hitoshi his head. Yeah, it was. What took you so long to ask? He wondered. Papa sighs. We just didn't want to push you. Yeah, Dad nods, in case something happened. I know we changed the environment you were in, but still, Toshi, we worry. Hitoshi looks down as they all fall silent. The last of his cats, 𝗵𝗲, comes over and jumps onto his lap, having a staring contest with Taro before 𝗵𝗲 eventually wins and curls up with a purr. He thinks back to the first years of schooling, where the other kids made fun of his quirk, calling him a villain. Thankfully, his parents had moved when he started middle school and he doesn't really get teased anymore. Well, a lot that is, but he'd never tell his parents that. Hitoshi thinks back to today and smiles, petting 𝗵𝗲. Well, something did happen today. Hitoshi brings up, but quickly backpedals when he sees their expression. Something good, I mean. He rubs the back of his neck with his free hand. I think I made a friend. Well, two, to be specific. You think? Mom cries out, but Hitoshi's not worried due to the wide grin on her face. Dad and Papa, too, are looking ecstatic at the news and he blushes. Yeah, but I'm not too sure. Dad laughs at his comment, brushing his blue hair back, even though he was stuck with permanent flashback bangs that Hitoshi inherited. What's that supposed to mean? I mean, we changed numbers. We have plans to go get coffee. He mentions. Then you guys are friends. Papa tells with a smile. Hitoshi smiles back at him. How'd you meet them? Mom asks, slapping her husband lightly to get him to calm down. Luckily, she was wearing her one-fingered glove so her quirk didn't activate on him. Hitoshi thinks back and tries to find a good way to tell them, before he sighs and decides to just tell them the truth. So, I almost spilled coffee on one during the train ride, and then at the exam, the same kid helped me, and later, told me to go rescue a girl while he jumped up the side of a building and speared a giant robot so strong it broke. I then held the girl's hair back as she threw up, and I guess now we're all friends. He looks up to see his parents somehow managing to exchange looks with each other through the screen before Dad starts cracking up so strong he almost falls out of his chair. This is dash, he wheezes for a moment while. Mom hits him on the back a few times. This is amazing. I'm so happy for you, Toshi. Me, too. Papa pipes up, looking amused at his husband's antics. This robot punching friend of yours sounds very interesting. Oh, he is. Hitoshi nods, thinking back to Midoriya's glowing armor and trident. Then he compares that strong image of him to Midoriya delirious from Quirk exhaustion, giggling at dumb jokes. Yeah, interesting is a way to describe him. Mom, having seemed to have calmed Dad down, focuses back onto Hitoshi. So, how do you think you did during the exam? And the physical? He rubs 𝗵𝗲's head as she purrs up to him. Well, I know I aced the exam. I mean, I've been studying so much, and I feel confident that my scores were good. The practical, on the other hand, Hitoshi trails off. He doesn't want to tell his parents how little points he got. The chances of his passing were close to none. You don't have a type of quirk that would really allow you to fight. Dad finishes for him, having sobered up a bit. He winces at the harsh truth. Yeah. Papa leans back in his office chair. Well, how many points did you get? Hitoshi looks away from the screen. His throat was starting to feel thick. It's nothing much, really. Mom sighs and he can feel her brown eyes trained on him through her glasses. Baby, we don't care how many points you got. If you ended up with 5 or 50, it means nothing to us. The corners of his mouth was starting to hurt and he looks up into the bright light of his apartment to blink away the burn in his eyes. He swallows and looks back at the concerned faces of his parents, pulling his feet up onto the couch and sinking deeper into the cushions with boba. I know that, it's just. Hitoshi takes a deep breath. His voice cracks. I only got 9 points. He looks anywhere but his parents now, with tears streaming down his face. Oh, Toshi, that's great. That's no. Hitoshi cuts Papa off. It's not great or fine. It's he sobs. It's disappointing, that's what it is. And at this rate, I'm never gonna get into Yui like you 3 did and his eyes squeeze shut. I'm never going to become a hero. Not with a quirk like mine. At this point, his remaining 2 cats have curled up around him too, purring softly as if to reassure him. Papa takes a deep sigh and Hitoshi can hear his chair squeak as he slouches over. Hitoshi, 9 points isn't disappointing at all. 9 points is amazing. The truth is that your quirk will never enable you to have a one-on-one battle. He waits until Hitoshi is looking up at them again, purple eyes meeting purple. Mom is rubbing circles into Dad's arm and Papa just looks so tired. Hitoshi sniffs as he feels Papa's calming quirk wash over him with every word he speaks. He takes a deep breath, and another, rubbing the tears out of his eyes. I know that. But, baby, don't you see? Dad picks up where his husband left off. The sheer fact that you knew all of that. And you still went and did your best. That's what's going to enable you to become a hero. You have grit, Toshi. Mom tells him. So use it to become the best hero you can possibly be. Hey, look at me. And Hitoshi does, through wet eyelashes. Past her eye bags, there's a lingering heaviness that seems to rest on her shoulders. 9 points is more than what we got combined in the physical exam. She shakes her head slightly. Sure, we all entered different years, but between all of us, we only got 7 points. I myself only got 1. People can become heroes in different ways. Papa says softly. I didn't pass the physical exam at all, but I did make it into general education. And from there, I proved to them that I could be a support hero in the industry and eventually got moved into the hero course. Mom watches him with a comforting smile. So everyone walks different paths to become a hero. And even a hero is different for everyone. There's everyday heroes, to underground ones, to doctors and firefighters and teachers. Dad says. We will love you, no matter what you decide to become. Hitoshi, though all of his tears were gone, but here he is, sobbing in full force again with his cats. It's a wild turn from the usual uncaring facade he puts on. Sad to say it's a common occurrence. I love you, too. Mom, Dad, Papa. Hitoshi declares. No matter what it takes, I'll do it.